And if your plant gets big and heavy, structurally, it's going to fall over. So you need to scrog or brace it somehow. The advantages of using rock wool in your crop production. The high temperatures that are used in making it, it ensures that the material is essentially rendered chemically and biologically inert. So there's no
sterile.
Oh, you sound like a scientist.
Thank you. I'm a rock wool scientist.
When you're talking about rock wool, you're talking about science.
I'm pretty sure that the scientists just read the same articles I do and put it into the. Can I put on my Instagram scientist now? Cocoa Ninja Rock wool scientist all in one.
Self-proclaimed cocoa scientist.
But it's sterile, biologically inert, no funky fungus, no bacteria. No additional chemicals. It's broken down, right? It's made into an inert state. So an inert state. So there are heavy metals in it, in the grow medium. Okay, that's the key point. We'll go more into heavy metal contamination after we go over both grow mediums and the ways that things can become contaminated, which isn't always the grow medium, people. It's free from any potential pests, diseases, weed seeds. The high degree of sterility is a major advantage over different alternative substrates that are used in greenhouse or indoor crop production. Rock wool ensures that the material is essentially other advantages. I'm sorry. This is the funny part, and you know this. I was putting my notes together at pre-production on my phone, and I accidentally deleted like half of the fucking notes. So I had to try to scramble them together at the break here. But the other advantages of rock wool include because of the manufacturing process, a very consistent product. You don't have a lot of variety in what you're getting. So if you buy a case of 64 cubes, pretty much those 64 cubes are identical.
Yep.
And you could treat them the same way.
You don't get a bad batch of rock wool, basically.
And let's see. The other advantage is rock wool slabs and blocks can be watered frequently as they drain freely and can thus be managed to provide an optimum ratio between air and water for crop production through the season. But this, too, isn't just the grow medium. It's the grower. Because you can overwater anything. Have you seen those algae? Upstate growers said it in the song, cubes of mold, algae is all you're breeding. A lot of people overwater rock wool.
But one good thing about rock wool is even when fully saturated, it still contains about 40% oxygen to water ratio. So it's hard to overwater rock wool.
I actually have a different number that it's 18 to 25% air to water ratio.
Well, I was wrong.
But the product does not modify or restrict nutrient availability, with more than 98% of the water and fertilizer applied being readily available if you water it at the right time for uptake by the crop. Now think about this, because we're going to go into heavy metals in a little bit. If you have an inert medium and your plant is basically an accumulator plant, which cannabis is, where it takes up everything, that means it takes up everything in its environment and doesn't show adverse effects if it's taking up heavy metals or other stuff. It may not show it. It just absorbs everything. That's why they use hemp to remediate certain places where there was toxic spills or heavy metal spills.
Chernobyl.
Because
where they did bomb testing.
They'll pull it out. But so if you're not sure of the purity of your fertilizers, that can be a problem if 98% of it is being uptaken directly into the plant with your rock wool. Everything happens real quick in rock wool, another advantage. So it quickly responds to changes in liquid feeding, meaning your electrical conductivity or your pH. The plant will show almost immediate reactions to it within a few hours. You think for cannabis, if the plant can take it up, which it can in rock wool, for every foot the plant is basically 1 hour to show the effect. So if you have a 3-foot plant and it's taking it up because you have the right pH, it's not overwatered where you have a root rot problem or anything, within 3 hours, a 3-foot plant will show drastic changes. Requirements delivered by the irrigation of the root zone of a hydroponic crop. In 1998, a researcher named Smith outlined some of the changes made to the characteristics of rock wool slabs to improve crop production. Further improvements continue to be made with the latest information on each manufacturer's website. Some of the disadvantages of rock wool, though. There is a perceived disadvantage of rock wool use as finding an acceptable or sustainable second use after its first use. People decide just to discard their rock wool because to reuse it, first you got to grind it up, and then you got to find a alternative as an amendment or something like that. It becomes very costly, Horty, to treat it and to try to reuse it. So it's cheaper just to go get some more molten rock right at your store. We will talk more about this, but some of the other disadvantages are the health concerns, in particular to lung irritations and potentially lung cancers. In 2000, a study by Drent found that they are very concerned about lung cancers because of the fibrous materials, even though it's not like asbestos that it has been studied that it can, the small fibers can be ingested and lodged in the lungs the same way asbestos is. Therefore, when handling rock wool, no matter the small amount, it is always recommended to use goggles, gloves, and a respirator. I have a funny story real quick about the lady who was the president of, or the owner of Grodan, V, remember V?
Yeah.
She would eat rock wool at the trade shows to show that it was non-toxic. Do you remember that?
Yep.
What the
She would
hell?
And horribly, and not very many people talk about it or even acknowledge it, but she died of a lower intestinal cancer.
Shit.
And I mean, it's horrible, but
There
the
could
correlation,
be a correlation there.
It could be a coincidence. It could be a correlation. I'm not the one to decide that, but from what my research is, it's not healthy to ingest either orally or even breathing it in. Research on cancer concluded and reevaluated the carcinogenic risk of airborne man-made fibers, including all mineral wool fiber products such as rock wool. As a result of this, they found that it was inconclusive and that they classified it as non-carcinogenic to humans. You can go to www.iarc.fr to read the full evaluation of it. One of the biggest problems with rock wool is this, guys. It's the it's disposing of rock wool. It's rock. It doesn't break down, right? It doesn't go away. It's going to be in that state for a very, very long time, and you dump it into a landfill. And actually, the United States has no regulations, but most of Europe has regulations that you're not allowed to dispose of it into landfills because it is there forever. It does not break down. And certain disposal methods, such as reusing it, not cost effective, like we talked about. Horticris, you do use rock wool. Give me an idea of why you like rock wool. What you heard so far, if that would change your mind about using it.
Well, basically, if I was running like a big commercial spot where you got like, racks and racks and racks and racks and racks of plants that you have watering systems on, or that you're wand watering or whatever, most people will run soil or cocoa in a smart pot or some plastic pot or whatever. And if I was going that route, that's maybe the way I would go. Over time of being a nerd back in the day when I was trying to try every type of way to grow, Grodan, like the hydroton, clay pebbles, cocoa, soil, whatever it was. Over time, I tried an aeroponic system, like a GH type system with the little rocks in there, and then the rocks fall in and clog up lines. And if the water shuts off for 10 minutes, the plants wilt because there's no medium to hold the water for them. And over time, a friend of mine gave me a book called The ABCs of NFT. And so I decided to try an NFT grow, and I cut the lids off of my Aeroflow system and made it a little trough and put little 3x3 or 4x4 cubes in there and had like the little 1/4-inch line at the back with the thin stream of water. And I noticed that the growth rates were similar to aeroponics, but it was much more forgiving compared to aeroponics with like water flow and stuff like that. So to use cocoa in an NFT system, it would be pointless, right? So and Grodan was like the premier choice for that. One thing I liked about it is I don't have to lug 50-pound sacks of fucking soil into my spot and then fill a bunch of pots with gallons and gallons of cocoa, and then at the end I've got 300 trash bags that weigh 1,000 pounds apiece that I got to go try to get rid of somewhere.
That's the hardest day, throwing that away.
I'm sorry?
That's the hardest day when you grow with cocoa, is throwing it away.
Throwing it away, right? Yeah. In my days, I didn't care about plant numbers. So I'm stuffing 16 plants in every 4x4 area and flipping them at 1.5 feet tall that have been topped in a 4x4x3 cube in a 4 or 5 inch channel, right? And at the end of the grow, an 8-liter fits in 2 garbage bags, and you fucking go chuck them in the fucking dumpster and you're done. And when you bring home the new case of cubes to set up your next grow, it's 1 cardboard box. So when you're growing in a residence or whatever and your neighbors see you carrying bags.
Easy to bring in.
Yeah, it's easy to bring in. 1 box, you bring it in. I like that it was easy to flush. You
flush it down the toilet, bro? It never breaks down, bro. It's in your pipe still.
Is that why my shitter doesn't work?
No, that's your wife's tampons.
But in a recirculating system, it was cool. I never have been a fan of, like, say, a Hugo block, in my opinion, because the water wicks down. The top of the block would get too dry in the beginning. You'd have to keep watering, keep dripping the plant until the roots got out the bottom to be able to pull the water up. And the big 6-inch cubes grow a lot of algae on top. And, there's definitely issues with it. But I found that the oxygen to water ratio was good. It was stable. It worked good. Soak it, use it, throw it away, get some new shit. It was $1 or something for a cube. It was a lot cheaper than filling up. I mean, what's a pot cost? $5 or $6 for each one. So it's cost effective.
Here's a deal: it's way cheaper to use cocoa.
And I've had great results with it. Now, if I was just setting up, if I wasn't doing an NFT system in a 40-liter, and I was doing pots full of cocoa or soil.
Braggadocious.
No, but I'm saying if I was doing a really
that would have been the biggest grow in Oklahoma right now.
A really large setup. The 80-liter that I posted that I had the flip boxes
no, it's 80 lights.
Oh, that's 80.
Damn, dog.
You've never seen the picture?
I don't need to see pictures.
In 2008 I ran 40 ballast on 80 hoods in a spot near Staples Center, and we used cocoa because it was just easier to
hand water or
no. We had a irrigation system from a golf course.
So back to that point, and you're right. So this is the other thing that people disadvantage of cocoa. Or perceived disadvantage is, for one, the pH is extremely high. So we didn't talk about that yet. It's extremely high, so you have to pH adjust it and get it to the right pH, which can be a pain in the ass for some people. You don't need to be a fucking scientist to figure out the pH of your water and to actually treat rock well.
Right.
And if you're calling yourself a scientist, you're just a douchebag. If that's all you know how to do. It's like, hey, look, I'm a scientist. I got to wipe my ass after I take a shit. Like, no, it's just fucking logic. If you want it to work, that's what you do. So it's required to treat. It is annoying and a hassle, but it's not that big a deal. But when you do get the pH correct, it can fluctuate much more than other types of grow medium. You'll have to watch the pH levels of your rock wool like a scientist, like a hawk, to make sure there's no nutrient blockage to your root. The last thing you want is for your media to actually slow down the growth of your plant instead of speeding it up. That is, as a grower, I think every grower needs to take responsibility for their garden, not blame the cuts that you got from someone fucking 8 weeks ago, not blame your grow environment that you created, or the pH that you didn't check, or the accumulation of salts, or whatever it is. Growers need to take responsibility for their garden. Everyone wants to blame the hydro fucking store. Well, if you're working there, black market, it probably is your fault. There are plenty of alternatives out there that you can use, though. And, I think of things, if I'm going to pick out an alternative, it would be ability to reuse the material, helping the environment, saves you money. No potential health side effects, which we talked about, the airborne health hazards of the fibrous materials. And it's easy to use with little maintenance. And that is what I look for, and that's why I prefer cocoa. But we're going to go into that. Let me give you my entire take here on on the rock wool. Even though it's been a popular grow medium for vegetables, herbs all over the world, it's not environmental friendly, and that's one reasons why I choose to grow in other forms of hydroponic grow mediums. It doesn't score on the environmental scale. It's not a natural material, even though King Kamehameha Duff scientist Leia found it in Hawaii. Let's see. It's not healthy to be around, right? Like we talked about. There are several different places you can go. One of them, the EPA, has an air toxin report. You go to www.epa.gov/air toxins, and it's HLTHEF/fine minerals. You can find it. You could also go to https :/monographs.iarc.fr to learn more about it. And whether it's causing cancer or it's not being broken down, these things are big issues for me. And also, the smaller amount of grow medium that doesn't hold as much water because it dries out quicker isn't advantageous for a busy individual like myself.
Absolutely, especially you're draining the waste. If you're trying to use rock wool, you're going to be watering much more frequently. Like I said, if you're in a recirculating system like an NFT style system, it beats having little plastic cups with rocks in them, but I wouldn't put cocoa in there because it's going to be too wet. Sitting in that constant stream of water, you're going to have to put like hydroton in the bottom of the little cup. It's so for the style of growing that I like to do, the rock wool is more convenient, and I get better results with less hassle. But like I said, if you're running a huge project with 3-foot tall plants in 3 to 5 gallon pots, I'm not trying to put a mix of Grodan cubes and whatever in there and have. It's easier to use the cocoa with some perlite in it. Absolutely. Either way, the medium is like a race car. They all work if you know how to drive, right? Mm-hmm. One isn't superior to the other. All of them can have drawbacks. I mean, we had Agrarian Supply on here, and they were noticing that there was cocoa that had like toxic shit in it and was fucking everybody's grow up, right? So shit like that can happen. So it is what it is.
Well, and we'll go into that. We got to take a quick break to pay some bills, but we're going to come back, talk about the pros and cons of cocoa, and also about the heavy metals that can be found and how your cannabis plants are probably exposed to them. And I'll give you a spoiler. It's probably not your grow medium. Heavy T's Grow Show right here on DFC Radio. Talking grow with black market cultivators and hoarding Chris. Call in 562-653-0707. I get so high, I can't even read my own notes because I deleted them like a dumbass. like a scientist. I bet a scientist wouldn't delete their notes.
Right.
They would have probably an assistant or a support animal that would write it down for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Big split smoker, don't need no roller. So roll my doja, I can first show ya. Big stage older, crystal mist cola. Sticky as the growers, we gon' see more up. We gon' see more bud, pockets on forest. Yeah, they cheer for us, cause we got more of what they want is store plus. If I can't fly, I'ma puff till I soar up. Good day for 'em. The way I run these trees, you could say I run forest. Yeah, I run for it, run toward it. Haters can't ignore it, all that ladies love it. It's so euphoric, they so blatantly adore. Bumping on the cuts as we cruising to the night. Like that cut from DJ quick, cause it's going down tonight. Just sliding at the split so I can hit it while I ride. And shorty looking swift, I'ma hit it while I drive. We so high, smoking all the time, rolling all the time, chopping all the time. Yeah, we so high, smoking all the time, rolling all the time, chopping all the time. Yeah, we so high. Fire
sip, another split. Take a hit, show life I'm fucking with. And I'd be lying if I said my life is perfect. I'm hurting inside enough for me to catch a birdie. Lungs turning black, smoke till my chest is burning. Can't hold back, I'm high till the morning. We brew money, it's the only thing that levels me. You can call it remedy, but never gets the best of me. Twist to get it lifted while I'm shipping to the bitches. Got me feeling like the riches, I'm on it, so get with it. Flipping on that killing soul, smoking with a privilege. Take it higher than the gifted, so don't mind if I'm tripping. Gotta keep my hustle up, so I smoke the top shell. If your lungs ain't strong enough, smoke with somebody else. I need that good, burning like wood should. I good wood, burning like good wood should. So high, can't touch the ground. Look at me, I'm Superman. I wanna go up, light the blunt, light it up and have so much fun. So high, can't touch the ground. Look at me, I'm Superman. Wanna go up, light the blunt, light it up and have so much fun.
We so high, smoking all the time, rolling all the time, chopping all the time. Yeah, we so high, smoking all the time, rolling all the time, chopping all the time. Yeah, we so high, smoking all the time, rolling all the time, chopping all the time. Yeah, we so high, smoking all the time. DFCRadio.com.
Hey, I'm in the zone. Dude, this shit is awesome.
Coming to grips with measuring pH is a fundamental part of ensuring a successful crop. Of course, having the right nutrient mix is important, but without a slightly acidic pH level, plants won't receive optimal benefits from the nutrients supplied. Blue Lab has a range of pH measurement tools available to help both the commercial and small-scale growers. These include the Blue Lab Guardian Monitor, the Blue Lab Combo Meter, the Blue Lab pH Meter, the Blue Lab pH Pen, and the Blue Lab Soil pH Meter. For more information, visit us online at getbluelab.com.
Hey, baby, started early, huh?
Hey, Dr. Duff, are you signing up for another one of those internet dating sites after your divorce?
Nah, I'm just ordering these freaking douchebags from China here. Just gonna be saving a lot of money on it. About $1 a bag.
Did you say douchebags?
Yeah, they're pots. They're fabric pots. They're, made in China. They save $1 a bag from all the other.
Oh, it sounds like an imitation smart pot or something.
Yeah, save $1, but, I'm pretty sure these douchebags are gonna work.
Dude, I had a buddy of mine who used those same douchebags. He bought them direct from China. It killed his whole garden.
Bro, what? So I'm better off spending that extra $1 on a smart pot?
I'd get a smart pot.
Don't be a Duff man. Make sure to buy the original patented Smart Pot. Check them out at smartpots.com.
So you're big time, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
Have you ever been interested in gardening with dry fertilizers? Well, you're not the only one, and let me tell you about Vermicrop Organics and their line of organic dry fertilizers. Healthy plants with a simple 4-step process. Step 1, just measure out a half teaspoon per gallon of soil or 2 cups per 12 square feet of soil surface area. Step 2, apply evenly to the soil surface. Step 3, blend into the top layer of soil to avoid caking. Step 4, water thoroughly. And that's it, simple as that. Great for vegetables, fruits, flowers, potted plants, trees, shrubs, annuals, and perennials. It's Vermicrop Organics VermiVeg 744. Along with the Vermi Bloom and PK Boost, you will have a complete line of organic nutrients and a garden that will thank you with a great harvest. Looking for an even simpler way? Then check out the Vermiol 666. This game-changing mix is formulated for all stages of growth in the fast-paced garden of champion vegetable and flower growers. And check out the Vermi Bat Guano Fertilizer and the Vermi Blood Meal Fertilizer for feeding oversized, nitrogen-hungry plants. Learn more at vermicrop.com. That's vermicrop.com. The cannabis portion of this show is designed as entertainment only for legal medicinal cannabis patients over 21 years of age and is not meant to encourage any other activity or use. Yeah, Dick.
You're gonna go get the green pad, see? That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go get it right now. Go on down to your local hydro shop. Tell them Shunny sent you. That's right, Shunny with the green pad. More CO2 in your garden. More carbon, more weight, see? You need to get that weight up to pay me back, see, Shunny? Go get the green pad Junior. Put it in your cloning dome, see? You're gonna get some more roots faster. Cut days off your cloning time. More harvest year round. That's right, see? Activated by humidity. 35 to 50%, so make sure that's right, okay? Go to your local hydro shop, see?
That's right. Go there now. More root, more fruit, more fruit, more root.
That's right. Yeah.
Meow. Meow.
You're listening to Heavy T's Grow Show. Call in right now, 562-653-0707 for your chance to talk to Heavy T, Horty Chris, and the Duff Man only on DFCRadio.com.
The next level of growing is here. The growing revolution is here. DFCRadio.com. DFCRadio.com.
Riding through the city, bad bitch with me, stunning shades on, feeling like I'm dead. Riding through the city, bad bitch with me, stunning shades on, feeling like I'm dead. I be riding through my city, riding through the 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 city.
It's BZ. Look, hop into that all black thing on them things. Haters jaw dropping, looking strange and deranged. I'd advise them lames to remain in their lane. I'm all about my change, even though I'm paid, I never change. I diddy bob on a bad bitch, beast in it, I go savage. Haters stay on that mad shit, cause ain't there bitch in here average. Riding out on that boulevard, turn your neck and I'll pull you broad. Act tough and I'll pull your card, and that's just how the game go. Ain't got no time for no lame hoes and no silly niggas. Hub City nigga, and I'm riding around with these bad hoes, and I'm starting to feel like Diddy nigga. Stunning shades on, I'm in my zone, my bitch a Diddy nigga. More hoes on my phone, hoes in my home, that's on my city nigga.
Riding through the city, bad bitch with me, stunning shades on, feeling like I'm dead. Riding through the city, bad bitch with me, stunning shades on, feeling like I'm dead. I be riding through my city,
Feeling kind of shitty.
Feeling kinda shitty.
Hey, how come all your songs are riding somewhere?
Huh?
Riding in my ride.
Riding in my city?
Yeah.
Are you just like making up songs in your car? You live in your car or something?
That's not even me on that song. Shout out to Young Bam. That's Bam right there. Shout out. Yeah, that's my homie.
I
Oh,
guess
so who stole your idea?
all you rappers sound the same. Where's a lighter? I need to light this joint before I start talking Rockwell.
Light it up.
Here, let's take a call while we're waiting. 562-653-0707. You want to talk Grow? You want to talk Rockwell? You want to talk Coco? You want to talk Rockwell Scientists? You want to talk Coco Ninjas? What's your flavor? Damn, Horty, you're crushing the game,
Yeah,
dog.
he's doing good.
I asked him to grab beers, one for you and one for me.
Oh, that's mighty white of you. Thank you.
No worries.
Let me ask you this, Horty. Because of the infestation of water bugs that your fiance brought into your house,
Not into my house.
did you destroy your TV because you considered it to have water bugs in it?
No,
Then why did you destroy it?
I didn't. It broke because it's a Vizio. I tried to repair it, and in the repair, I broke something else. And so it is what
Give
it
me
is.
the story. Come on, what really happened? You threw something on the TV?
I'm watching TV one day, and the top left corner, like halfway across the screen, got a little dark. And like when I was like watching Vice, you know, it goes like a white screen and says Vice, you would see like a tinted spot. Then a couple days later, there would be another stripe on that side, a little bit below it, and then the bottom half of it went out, and then that whole side got darker, and then the other side
Well,
started
water
having,
bug was in there
started
eating
having
shit?
problems, and then all of a sudden one day the whole screen was black. So I went on fucking Google and typed in the model number and was like dark lines on screen, and a million things come up about the backlights burning out. And Vizio telling customers, oh, the backlight's burned out? Yeah, it's not repairable. You just need to get a new TV. And they'd offer to sell people refurbished ones at a discount. So everybody was pissed. So some guy has
So
a
that
website.
means they repaired them?
No, not for that issue. But then people would buy the repaired one that had like a bad circuit board, and then the backlights would burn out on that one. So some guy put up a site where he was selling the LED strips to replace the burned out backlights. And apparently they come from the factory set at 100% backlight. If you leave it there, it burns out the LEDs over time. So they suggest you turn the backlight down to 50%, and people said that made their TV last longer. So for $100, I could buy the strips, the LED strips, to replace them. To replace the LED strips, you literally have to disassemble the entire TV down to bare parts all the way across.
8 screws.
All the way across. You have to take the whole thing apart
8 screws,
to
no big
change
deal.
the LEDs. So I did that, and as my fiance and I were lifting the screen off to
Water
move
bugs
it,
ran out.
I pushed a little too hard on the corner, and it cracked the LCD screen, which basically means just a small crack in the corner, but that fucks the whole thing up. And if that cracks, you can't replace it. So now I have to pay a 20% restocking fee to send back the LEDs that I don't need anymore because I broke the screen. But it is what it is. I'll get a new TV.
We got one here at the studio, don't we, Saint?
Do we? We got screens.
Yeah, you could just take one from behind you, Horty.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Two TVs
There's
right there.
two right there.
Yep. No, you can't.
You know
No
what's
water
funny?
bugs in there, though? How many screws were actually that you had to deal with?
Dude, it literally, like,
All the screws.
80 something screws. 80 something screws.
More screws than we screwed over the scientists.
Man.
It took 3 hours to completely disassemble the whole fucking thing. That's how many screws.
Speaking of water bugs, one time I got a PS2 from my ex-girlfriend, and I turned that shit on, and fucking a shitload of baby cockroaches ran out that motherfucker.
My
bro.
buddy's my buddy's
I was like, oh shit!
my buddy's uncle.
Attack!
Listen, all y'all, it's a sabotage. Listen, all y'all, it's a sabotage.
None of you guys went to Coachella, right?
No.
we are
My
herpes-free.
friend's uncle owned a pawn shop, and the place constantly had roaches because they get people pawn their shit that usually live in low-income areas.
You think?
And the TVs and other electronics are warm, so
Rich
cockroaches
people have garage sales. and
cockroaches
estate
would
sales.
get inside of them, and literally, he was like, never buy electronics from a pawn shop, or you'll end up with cockroaches in your house.
That's another con to cocoa. I've gotten water bugs in my cocoa.
Yeah,
bag
so the
before.
cockroaches go around the electronic circuits because they like the warmth.
Right.
And they breed around there, and they get in anywhere, then they come out,
Roach
and they take
hotel.
over Horty's house, and now there's just
No, so my
water
girl
bugs
lived in an
everywhere.
apartment, and her roommate was nasty, and they got cockroaches in their house. And so she was like, I can't fuck with this. I'm moving out. And then she moved out. And then when she moved in with me, she wanted to bring her TV over. And I was like, you are not bringing your TV to my house because I'm not going to have fucking cockroaches. I don't have cockroaches in my TV. I'm like, well, you just leave that somewhere else.
And lo and
Fuck that.
behold, what did you end up getting?
No, so then I noticed water bugs outside of my house near my pool.
You noticed cockroaches, and she said they were
I,
water
I
bugs.
blamed, no, they were huge. I blamed her and said, see, those are cockroaches from you. And she got all upset. But we ended up finding out that our neighbors were having their some remodeling done on their house. And I guess they had a bunch of water bugs in their pool equipment or something. And so there was like water bugs in my backyard, and I blamed her.
Of course you did.
She didn't like that
You had
too
her
much.
stay at a hotel for a couple days even.
No, I told her I'm leaving and staying at a hotel. And
It's like, clean this out. Anyways, let's talk grow with Ricardo. What's growing on?
Yo, what's up, man?
Not much. Another day, another dollar. How you feeling?
Nice, pretty good, man. Just fucking hitting the ball right now.
All right, man. Let me ask you a question real quick. Did you get to hear the parody song from Ad Upstate Grower?
Earlier, yeah.
It was on point, was it not?
Dude, it was catchy.
Now, we're going to have a competition for parody songs. If you were going to write a parody song about the show, what would you do?
Oh.
Think about it. Think about it. You don't have to answer right now.
call back next week and let us know.
But what you do have is a
Yeah,
question for us. What's going on, Ricardo?
So I'm pretty sure it's powder mildew in my pants. And I'll either spray it down a little bit, but it keeps coming up. How do I get rid of it?
Well, what are you spraying it down with?
Get rid of the water bug TV that your girlfriend brought over?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like baking soda with mixed with water.
I got baking soda. I got baking soda.
First off, your buddy don't know shit.
Yeah.
He must be a scientist, too, because he got you all fucked up.
How large of a grow is it?
I have 4 or 5 plants. 5 plants right now.
And how big of an area? Is it a tent?
4 by 3, yeah, in a tent.
In a tent? I mean, the best thing for powdery mildew to get rid of it, in my opinion, is using a sulfur burner.
Ding, ding.
But you can't use it after like the second week of flower because you're going to get sulfur in your plants.
Duffman uses that shit till the day of harvest. He's
and,
like,
and also,
he's like, look at these trichomes, put some sulfur on.
And then also maintaining an environment that does not have excess nitrogen. If you have too much nitrogen in your plants and they're like really, really dark green, that makes the tissue on the leaf softer, and it allows the powdery mildew to take root easier. Another thing is improper airflow. You get these microclimates where you're not getting enough wind in the room to keep the powdery mildew from sticking to the plants. Another thing that also affects it is low light levels. You probably noticed the powdery mildew on the lower leaves that aren't getting as much light as opposed to the top of the plant. And then on top of that, when
the
you
lower leaves are closer to the grow medium too, which is wet.
On top of that, you also, when you have a severe fluctuation between daytime and nighttime temperature and humidity levels.
Palabra.
So you don't want 85 in the day and 65 at night, and then 85, 65. That also, you want to keep your day and nighttime temperatures very close to each other and keep your humidity levels lower. So you can increase light, increase fan, decrease nitrogen, but once it's in there, it's kind of hard to get rid of. And the only thing that wipes it out completely would be burning sulfur. And when you do that, you want to cover your sensitive equipment like a CO2 meter, anything that could get the sulfur inside. And but when you do, you have to completely basically vaporize the sulfur, and it kills all the spores. After this harvest,
good maintenance too.
Yeah, after this harvest, I would go in, wipe everything down with isopropyl alcohol on the inside of the tent, and then burn a sulfur burner for a couple hours at a time in the empty space before you replant.
Yeah, sterilize. Put every piece of grow equipment that is in a sensitive.
How far into bloom are you?
Rockwell Scientist instrument in there and vaporize.
Week 6.
Yeah.
Go get some plant therapy, my man.
Yeah, and
plant therapy will help knock it down. Is it into your buds or just on the leaves?
Just on the leaves.
All right. All right. So you're gonna spray everything and then remove those leaves. Make sure you have plenty of airflow. Like Horty was saying, microclimates where the plants are pushing together, where it's pushing against the wall of your tent. That is less airflow there, hotter temperatures, higher humidity. You need to defoliate and practice defoliating and also training your plants.
Can he use the plant therapy to kill algae on top of rock wool?
No.
No, you just cover the rock wool until the plants grow enough that the light isn't hitting the top of the rock wool, and then you won't have the algae issue.
Hydrogen peroxide, too.
I was just wondering if it did.
Yeah, you can spray. You can just mix up hydrogen peroxide and spray the top of the cube every day for a week or two, and it'll kill the algae. Now, let me ask you another question. Are you noticing this powdery mildew on the lower leaves that are kind of shaded?
Kind of like
everywhere, Hans.
A little bit everywhere.
I mean, are you getting powdery mildew near the tops of the plants as well?
No, just on the leaves. On the top, no. The top looks fine.
So the leaves that are directly under the light aren't having the issue, right?
No.
It's mostly the stuff underneath. You probably want to do more effective pruning and stripping of the lower branches earlier, because that stuff at the bottom that's getting powdery mildew, the flowers next to that are really sparse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you didn't want those to be there to begin with. And when you clean out the canopy and get rid of some of that lower stuff,
shave those legs, baby.
Yeah, you get a little more room for air to flow, and you don't get leaves laying on top of leaves and stuff like that. So I would remove the lower growth that you see the powdery mildew popping up on. And you're in week 6, so you don't have much further to go. But keep in mind that the more that you remove the lower leaves, then the powdery mildew has to go somewhere. But usually it's not going to take effect up high where you have intense light levels and good wind, because it's counterproductive to the mildew growing.
And that's where my mites have set up house, so it's cool. I think the mites eat the powdery mildew on top. Hey, you can actually, a great way to prevent it is the sulfur vaporizing, but it's always not applicable to small areas because it is hot, and if it's too close to the tent material, it can melt it.
Ceiling.
All of that. So I use trifecta, plant therapy, and transport, and the transport allows you to spray when the lights are on. And per liter that you mix up, you use 10 milliliters of transport, 10 milliliters of plant therapy, and 10 milliliters of trifecta. If you do have a problem, you can up the plant therapy to 15 milliliters, and you won't get a burning or a phytotoxicity. And it's safe to spray up until a couple days before harvest. Right, it will break down because of the oils and the alcohol. It breaks down within 48 to 72 hours.
And if you're spraying plants that have heavy flowers on them, you can take like a styrofoam plate or a paper plate that's like the Dixie plates that are coated, cut like a little Pac-Man mouth in it kind of, and you can slide it over the leaves.
Like
yeah, and then spray so you don't spray the flower.
I would disagree, Horty, because the mildew might be on the flowers too. Look, I'm Ed Rosenthal. I disagree.
I just wouldn't spray the flowers.
Ed Rosenthal on the show disagreed
Usually,
with every
when you start getting
logical
powdery
thing I said.
mildew all into the flowers, you haven't removed
You should go into your
the
garden,
ones
Ed.
on the
I
bottom.
disagree.
You know what I
Don't go
mean?
in
And
your
you've let it where they're basically covered in white.
He actually said
You
that.
want to avoid
remember
that
that show.
over the next 2 weeks and try to get your temperatures day and night time a little more even than they are now.
Get it, yeah.
Hey, you should water your plants, Ed. I disagree. I think less water is better. So PM, yep, just everything Horty said, absolutely right. It's a fallacy, though, that PM is systemic. You can get rid of it. You just have to go hard on it, okay? So I don't have the Letterman. But spray them down completely. Once you spray it, defoliate, get plenty of airflow going. Make sure that the fluctuation of day and nighttime temperatures. And also, you can use silica, monosaccharic acid. I really like Vitalize from Mills Nutrients. You could use that. It helps bolster the plant cells against both insects and pathogens like powdery mildew. Excuse me. It also has stress. It alleviates stresses on the plant so you don't see as much effects from drought or heat problems where you don't have hermaphrodation. It's a great product to be using through your entire veg and bloom cycle, and it's compatible with any grow medium, whether you're a Rockwell scientist or a Cocoa Ninja or a dirtbag, whatever it is. Dirtbags. Is that it? Soil dirtbag guys now?
Cocoa Ninja,
Dirtbaggers.
Rockwell Scientist, Dirtbaggers.
There you go. We'll work on the soil.
Yeah, we got to find the soil one.
For sure. Perfect.
NorCal growers.
NorCal Dirtbaggers.
I'm also let's do this, Ricardo. I'm gonna send you some things. I'm gonna send you some Green Pads Original, dude. The Green Pads Original in a small tent like yours. You'll see the benefits of using CO2. It's the best, most inexpensive way to learn the benefits of CO2. Go to greenpadco2.com. You hang them up. You give them a squirt. Let the CO2 just rain all over your plants, and you'll be good to go.
And do you have an intake and exhaust on your tent?
Yeah, I do.
You just using the little vents at the bottom of the tent to let air in?
On the top, yeah. It goes, I have it.
You have the fan up high?
Hanging.
You have the fan up high?
I have one fan like low and then one fan high.
The one that's low, is it pumping air into the tent, and the one up high is sucking it out?
Yeah.
The one on the bottom, you should put a dust shroom on it to trap any mold, mildew spores that are coming in.
We have one right here.
You want to filter the incoming air. What size fan is it that you have on the bottom?
12-inch.
Like a small, like two and a half inch.
A 2.5-inch fan?
We got a 12-inch one and a reducer.
Yeah, we don't make a dust
Double the
shroom
size
that
of
small.
Dr. Dust Wiener.
But maybe look into getting like a 4-inch inline fan to put at the bottom, and then you can connect the dust shroom to it, and that will filter the air that you're pumping into the tent as well.
It will. And yep. Is that about it? There was something else I wanted to say regarding powdery mildew. I think you pretty much covered it all, Horty. Who's banging stuff? Don't bang stuff over there, Black Market Cultivator Bomber.
That was Saint.
I'm sending you some Green Pad Originals. I'm also sending you some Smart Pots, the pattern of fabric pot, the only fabric pot that we fuck with here on Heavy T's Grow Show. It's the original. It's the best. Go to smartpots.com. Grow better with Smart Pots. Don't be a dummy. Use a Smart Pot. Thank you, Ricardo. Talk to my man, Marcos Pollos. He's going to tell you how to get that bomb diggity stuff.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man. And call in and tell your friends you got hooked up on Heavy Tea. 562-653-0707. That is the phone number. Let's go up north.
NorCal.
Dublin. Justin, what's going on? Hello, Justin.
Heavy T, what up, man?
Not much. How you been?
Hey, man, good. Up with Lucky Garden Mike. I'm sure you know them.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
nice. What's up, Lucky Garden?
Yeah, Mike and them are bomb, man. They're all taking good care of me. I have a question about outdoor, if you guys got a second.
Sure.
I have a bunch of plants in my garage. Grew them from seed and a couple of clones, kind of mixed all together, about 20 total. Curious, what do I do as far as making sure that they're not male versus female? And not only that, but I've been keeping them under 24-hour light. Wondering, do I slowly put them into like 12 hours? What do I do before I transition them outdoor?
Can I try to get this one?
Oh, go ahead. Black Market Cultivator, special guest.
So
first off, you want to give it water.
Yeah, make sure it's in cocoa. No. So my trick is you got them all in veg. They're all 24 hours. You don't know if they're male or female. You just label them ABC or 1, 2, 3. Take cuts off of those. Put them in a dome. Put that dome on 12 hours light somewhere. And then just have those cuts labeled ABC or 1, 2, 3. And they'll flower in the dome. You don't need the cuts. You'll just see their sex in the dome. And then you'll know the sex of the big plant.
Got it.
There you go. And another suggestion I would make to you is...
And you don't need roots.
Don't run your lights on 24.
Yeah, 18.6.
Yeah, 18.6 is fine. Plants don't know how long the light's been on. They only know how long the light's been off. So
they just know how much meth you're on.
Say, for example, you got a clone from a friend, right? And they took the clone and they were going to meet you somewhere and give it to you. And so they took the clone and they put it in their trunk of their car in a box. And it just so happened to be in there for 12 hours of uninterrupted darkness. And you took it home and threw it right into a 24-hour room. The last time it was dark for 12 hours. So that plant will start to try to flower. And if it was a clone of something that was a male, it could potentially pollinate something over time, right? So 18.6 is plenty, and plants, there's things that happen with it, like in the physiology of the plant when it's dark. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't want to be in 24 hours of light all day and never have like darkness because like your circadian rhythm gets off, right?
For sure.
It's not natural, just like it's not natural to constantly be in dark. So giving them 18.6
That's why Canadians are so fucked
is going to save you some electricity. It might even
how I
turning
maintain
off
my
the lights
skin color.
during the hottest part of the day in your garage, if it's not climate controlled, will also help you keep the temperatures in check. And it'll allow the plants to do what they do when the lights are on and do what they do when the lights are off. And it's going to get them used to.
Get this. So
Go
the
ahead.
wife and I come and go throughout that garage during the day. I mean, I got like a curtain up, but it still might get some like abstract light. Is that going to kill them?
No, that's
Is it
okay.
if they get a little side light here.
For
and there?
veg, that's
Yeah,
okay.
for veg, that's fine. You don't want them to get light like flashes in there when you're trying to have that 12 hours of darkness because any interruption of that cycle makes them think that it's not 12 hours. But if you're in veg, you can come and go as you please with the lights out, like for 8 hours or whatever. That doesn't matter to the plants.
And listen, if it happens once where you have a longer light cycle, your plants will pre-flower a little bit, but you get back on a rigid schedule, you're going to be just fine. He asked how to determine if it's male or female. There is a lab test out there that's by Philo's Bioscience, but listen, these guys have recently
Steal your genetics.
gone to start patenting fucking different genetics. They're like, yeah, send me your test. And they're getting the genetic sequences.
I only steal memes.
And you only steal memes. And I would stay away from that test is what I would say. But the old school way to do it, I mean, I've had guys, some of my friends' parents that are, or dads that are like, if it has more than 3 tiger stripes, it's a male.
Right?
And, if it's bigger than the tip of a pencil, it's a female. Like, okay, dude, like, I don't know about you, but I know how to brush my teeth. You don't, so I'm not taking your word for it. So I'm talking about Dr. Duff's dad, actually. That's fucked up. We've got R.I.P. But listen, so
No,
what
for
you
sure.
know, listen,
part
Justin.
of the plants, like I said, the
yeah.
clones are from. I know you guys favorite their Dark Heart Nursery up in NorCal, which could be Duff Heart Nursery.
Yeah,
for
Duff
that
Heart
matter.
Genetics. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if they sold you clones that are males,
and a
that'd be
couple
pretty fucked up.
But Justin, the old school way to do it is actually to initiate a dark period where you can leave it in dark a little longer than 12 hours, even up to 24 hours to initiate pre-flowering.
Okay.
Or have it at like a 24-hour cycle and take it down to 12 just for one day and put it right back, and you'll start seeing pre-flowering push out. Okay.
That could be stressful, though, which is why Dr. Baumgartner, a.k.a. Black Market Cultivator's idea of taking a cut and then taking those cuts in the dome
I didn't listen to
somewhere else and giving them a 12-12 cycle, they'll start to pre-flower.
And then your moms are still
And that'll let you
stress-free.
know. You'll know, like, even sometimes when you take clones, you'll see a little hair poke out here or there on a plant, right? So that way you're not going to stress the plants that you're going to try to put outside later by giving them a little dip in the light cycle, because some plants are way sensitive to that.
But you would just put it back on a rigid cycle and get them back on track. But that's how a lot of old school guys will do it.
Right.
That's why I start from
because
clones,
they don't
though.
know how to clone.
And well, the pheno hunters, and the pheno hunters out there that spend more money on seeds than I spend on Miller Lite. It's ridiculous how much people
do the clone thing. And also, as a tip from as Dr. Baumgartner said, take clones of each plant and label them, and go flip them and see like if they are male or female. And then you might want to even consider vegging those out and the ones that are female and keeping them around. So that way, if at the end of the season you had one that was fucking killer, but now next year nobody has it anymore, like,
or if you're pheno hunting, you could pick like the best looking male too and keep
right.
One.
If that's what if you're into that part too. But I can tell you some of my biggest regrets in my life as a grower is getting something and not taking a fucking clone, and then at the end it's the fucking bomb and you didn't have it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I've had my hands on some killer shit that I didn't want to give a clone to my friend because I didn't want him to give it to other people, and then something happened and my plant got killed, and there was none left.
And your clones rooted faster than you knew, and you went in there and they're all dehydrated.
No. Or just, someone gives you a cut.
That never happened to me.
Someone gives you a cut and tells you that it's pretty good, and then you go home and you flour it out, and it is pretty good, but you didn't get another cut of it. So, and also remember, when you're taking clones from other people, you're at Coachella without a condom and you got herpes. The only way to ensure that you don't get diseases and pests from other people is to not get stuff from other people.
Damn, Horty.
So if you like, I maintain moms. Whenever someone would give me a cut to try, I would give it to a friend and have them we'd put it somewhere else and make sure that it was clean.
Give me the fucking AIDS. Thanks, buddy.
No, just
Such a nice guy.
No, somewhere where there isn't plants. Hey, man, can I put a little plant over here and a little thing just to, make sure I don't bring home something I don't want, and that's still a pain in the ass. So if what you have, you get some clones, you can find out if they're male or female. Keep the females just as little babies as you flower outdoors all season. And at the end of the year, if something was totally like, fuck yeah, then you have it to make your own mama, to grow your own plants next year that aren't going to be like, maybe the cuts you got this year are clean. Maybe next year your buddy gives you cuts and they have russet mites on them.
Yeah.
And you ask about flipping them. So if you're not sure about the stability of your seeds or the genetics that they are coming from, it is better to go down 1 or 2 hours per day over about a week to 12 days and take it from 24-18 down to 12. Okay, so it's a gradual entrance into your flowering. If you are certain your plants are stable, most guys will actually initiate a stress to basically jerk them or shock them into flowering as quickly as possible with a 24-hour dark period.
Well, he's trying to take them from vegging in his garage to
but
putting them outdoors. So I wouldn't want to initiate flower when I'm trying to get them
So,
outside.
My bad. And so as a guy that actually grows greenhouses as well, that right now this time of year, it's 13 and a half, 14 hours a day of light. It's not enough. If you went from a veg to that, they're going to start flowering.
Right.
And then as the days get longer, you can go into a stressful situation that causes hermaphrodation. About the end of this month, 15 hours or more, you'll be fine. But so how I overcome this, dude, is I gather my plants. And I won't say how many, but it's significant.
6.
And I go to 6 plants. That's fucking significant as fuck, okay? But I go to Harbor Freight, and I get little solar lights that are independent, that for every basically 5x5 area, I put 3. They come in packs of 3. I put 3 of those directed down on the plants, charge them, and they give me a solid 6 to 8 hours of extra light when the sun goes down. I don't have to program anything or whatnot. I just zip tie them to the post where I do my trellising.
Nice.
Point them all directly down, and it keeps them in veg until I take them down and start light depping. And that's an easy way to extend the period if you want to put them outside and use the sun. Unfortunately, right now this year, up in NorCal, I'm sure it's about the same, but it's still fucking cold. Where we're at, we're having 40 to 45 degree evenings.
Yeah, the rain brings the cold.
With only like 62 degree afternoons with a UV index below 8. Plants ain't growing that much with a UV index below 8,
right?
Let alone with the cold temperatures. So it's kind of awkward. So you want to get those lights to get the extra veg time, but use them and use the sun. It's going to be better than using your T5s or even your metal halides, whatever you are using. And then once the hours of the day are over 15 hours or 15 hours of sunlight, you can take those down and you're good to go. They'll start flowering at summer solstice, June 21st, and they'll go all the way to August. If you start light depping them, 60 days, just like indoors if you keep a rigid 12-12.
Yeah, but definitely go to the 18-6 instead of 24 because when you do move them outside, like Heavy T said, you're not going to be getting 18. So it's going to be a drastic change in darkness. So I would
now, Horty, can I flip them straight to 18 and 6 versus the 24, or do I got to slowly push it?
I would. I mean, I've never had an issue.
You're not
going to
have
way.
a problem.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Like I said, the plants.
And he said there is auxiliary light coming from.
Well, he was concerned about it having to be completely dark.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have to be. That's
right.
what I mean. If there's some light coming through, let's say you have a bed sheet up and there's a shop light in there where some light comes in, they're getting light. They're still turned on.
But it's an HPS. It's a 600 HPS or under.
If you're trying to flower and you have any light at all during that 12 hours, it's an issue. It could cause them to go back to vegging. But when you're in veg, the 8 hours isn't enough to make them flower, and you don't care if it gets light during that 8 hours because you're not trying to bloom them anyways. Like they release hormones in the darkness that build up around the plant tissue and make the plant start to flower, and it is very light sensitive. So if you even flick a lighter in a room that you're trying to keep in total darkness for 12 hours, it can fuck it up, right?
Hey, little known fact.
But in veg, it doesn't matter.
Little known fact, Outback Steakhouse has to cook their blooming onion for 12 hours.
Really?
No, I made that up.
No wonder it always takes forever to get to the plate.
Hey, dude.
Hey, Heavy T, real quick, a side note, I used to live in Beverly Plaza. Used to go to the Interlude all the time, brother.
Holy shit, the Lude, dog?
The Lude.
Oh, my God. What's that one girl's name over there? The one that's such a whore?
The one that hobbles around, you mean?
No, she died.
Oh, yeah, she passed away, I think, actually, really.
No, Alyssa?
Poor lady. She was awesome.
And everyone is cool over there, actually. And, we're right.
Man, it's been a minute. It's been about 10 years. I'm up north now. But, man, you guys, I love the shop down there. Love the Interlude. Love that whole area, dude.
Thanks so much, man. And say what's up to Natalie and Mike. We appreciate you guys and everyone up north as well.
Hey, for sure, brother.
I'm sending you some Mission Fertilizer. I'm sending you some Mission Fertilizer and Smart Pots. You're going to kill the game outdoors with it.
You guys are the man. Heavy T Grow Show. It's the shit.
All right, brother. Thank you. Yeah, the Mission Fertilizer, all organic, no need to pH. Added some water, use the granular, and then all you have to do is be Bobby Boucher over there,
you
Black
just
Market.
sprinkle the granular right on top and just let it.
You could be
watered in
sprinkling,
from
you could
rain.
be digging it in, you could be doing whatever you need to do. My ninja.
Here's
my
the deal.
ninja.
You can sprinkle
My
it in, you can mix it in
Cocoa
water.
Ninja.
Now you're a cocoa ninja.
I believe in science.
We've got Ronnie from San Diego.
Whoa.
Ronnie is
Coming
in
from Mars.
Tron. Hey, Ronnie, we got a
In
bad
Tron.
connection. You need to call back, buddy. Or Mark, work on that, please. Let's take a quick break. We're talking cocoa. I still have to go over that and the heavy metal test. It's a real joke. The heavy metal test. Check this out, guys. Little what's that called? Not a preface, but
Fun fact.
the bait. No, the bait that you try to get them with. What's it called? Teaser. There you go.
Gotcha.
Little teaser.
I was going to say.
Check this out. The
Shiny watch.
allowable amounts of really carcinogenic heavy metals in the air is far greater than the allowable amount in your cannabis.
Oh,
in California.
That's kind of fucked.
So, yeah, we're gonna go a little deep into this, and I may ramble and say but can you play the Cocoa Grow song one more time?
Sure.
I want to beat this horse to death tonight because I never want to hear it again. I'm getting it out of the hate is gone. Rockwell scientist Jerome, the hate is gone. There is no hate. I don't hate. I appreciate. I gave you an out.
I love Jerome.
You fucked with the bull. You got the horns. Now get over it. FT's Grow Show, DFCRadio.com.
When you say you grew 4 pounds of light, then you went and picked a fight with the host of the show. He put you in your place, verbally bitch slapped your face. Worse than Duff's wife's herpes case. Y'all ain't homies no more. Go try a Coco. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Fuck, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a Coco, bro. Has to be better than your cubes of mold. And stop using Paclo. Hey, try a Coco, bro.
Don't be a bitch, a Rockwell scientist.
Hope you like algae, because that's all your Rockwell will breed. You can't call what you grow weed, and even Duffman agrees. Everybody knows you shouldn't fuck with a heavy tea show. Like one of Porty's hoes, you don't know when to just go. Go try a Coco. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Oh, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a Coco, bro. You're hated more than even Vinny Stone. And that's really fucking low. Don't try a Coco.
Don't be a bitch, a Rockwell scientist.
God, I believe in science.
DFZRadio.com.
So you're big time, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
Hey guys, it's Heavy T. As a longtime cultivator in both small and large gardens, both indoor and in greenhouses, I know the number one factor for being successful is to maintain an ideal environment and optimize my airflow. That is why I use and recommend Fantech controllers and EC fans. As the original inventors of the inline fan way back in 1974, Fantech uses the highest quality German motors and has revolutionary impeller technology. The EC fan creates the most efficient and powerful airstream of any fan in its class. And with the new Aeolus controller, maintaining the ideal environment has never been more simple. The Aeolus, with a variety of modes, allows me to control my exhaust and intake fans along with my dampeners from one easy to set up and use interface. And with the two expandable channels, I can maintain temperature set points in two separate spaces. So whether you're a hobbyist in your garage or a commercial greenhouse grower, it's simple. Use what the pros use. Use the Fantech EC fan and Aeolus controller. And if you're a retailer, contact Rambridge, Savant Plant Tech, or Garden Rebels Distribution and order yours today. Fan and controller sold separately.
Hey, I'm in the zone.
Dude, coming to grips with measuring pH is a fundamental part of ensuring a successful crop. Of course, having the right nutrient mix is important, but without a slightly acidic pH level, plants won't receive optimal benefits from the nutrients supplied. Blue Lab has a range of pH measurement tools available to help both the commercial and small-scale growers. These include the Blue Lab Guardian Monitor, the Blue Lab Combo Meter, the Blue Lab pH Meter, the Blue Lab pH Pen, and the Blue Lab Soil pH Meter. For more information, visit us online at getbluelab.com.
Yo, it's BKJ on Team King, and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
Don't you put that evil on me!
Heavy T.
Hey, bro, your garden's looking sweet, man. What are you using?
Yeah, man, I'm using a premium cocoa nutrient, Cocoa Tech A and B, man. It's an aggressive formula for increased yield during the flowering phase.
Wow, so this is made specially for cocoa?
You better believe it, man. It comes with easy-to-use 2-part formula, formulated aggressive growth and superior blooms.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah, man. Tell 'em, Bob.
This aggressive formula contains proprietary blends of calcium to ensure your plants thrive. Backed by years of research, Cocotech Premium Cocoa Nutrients are specifically designed to support and enhance your cocoa core growing experience. Use Cocotech Premium Nutrients with Cocotech Premium Cocoa Core for optimum results.
Yeah, man.
Dilly Heavy Tea Grow Show. But dilly.
You may proceed with your questions, Mr. Matson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Smith, is it not true on the night of April the 20th, you took responsibility for 12 females, and that you immediately took those females and locked them in your basement?
Yeah, that's right. And you should have seen them, looking all pretty and such.
Yes, I'm sure they were. But could you tell the court what happened next?
I mean, I kept them down there, trying to keep them safe from the world.
But that's not all, is it?
What are you getting at?
What I'm getting at, sir, is those girls were kept in a potting soil that was so low in nutrients that they barely had enough to survive. Are these the same girls that you did not plant in Sanctuary Soil's Empire Builder?
I didn't know about Sanctuary Soil's Empire Builder.
You should have known that Empire Builder contains all the nutrients those plants needed, as well as beneficial bacteria and fungus. You should have known that the guanos, worm castings, and over 20 micronutrients in Empire Builder would keep those plants vigorous and healthy. And you should have known that once the plants were placed directly in Empire Builder, that all you had to do was to keep the plants watered, and you would have seen amazing results.
I'm so sorry I didn't know.
Well, you should have also known that Empire Builder is now available in 2 cubic foot bags as well as by the truckload. Your Honor, I rest my case.
I have no choice but to find the defendant guilty of not using Sanctuary Soil's Empire Builder. Now get out of my courtroom.
Sanctuary Soil's Empire Builder. For more information, go to sanctuarysoil.com. Sanctuary Soil. Using anything else is criminal.
Hey man, your garden smells amazing this year. What are you doing different?
Haven't you heard? We've been using the Turpinator.
Did you say Turpinator like terpenes?
Yes, exactly. Turpinator is designed to increase your plant's terpenes, which are responsible for everything from how your plants smell to how much flavorful oils they produce. Basically, Turpinator is the one-stop shop for an overall quality increase for your fruits and flowers.
That's awesome. You know, I can tell the Turpinator has not only increased the oils in all your herbs and flowers, but it looks like it's going to increase your dry weight as well. And dude, don't even get me started on those crystals. They look like mini icebergs.
Well, you better hurry up and get on board. It's flowering season right now. And since Turpinator is made right here in Sonoma County, you can literally find it in any hydro store in town. Boost your plant's oils and bring out flavors that will drive your friends wild. Turpinator. Sticky is an understatement.
The cannabis portion of this show is designed as entertainment only for legal medicinal cannabis patients over 21 years of age and is not meant to encourage any other activity or use. Yeah, dick.
DFCRadio.com.
You're gonna go get the green pad, see? That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go get it right now. Go on down to your local hydro shop. Tell them Shunny sent you. That's right, Shunny with the green pad. More CO2 in your garden. More carbon, more weight, see? You need to get that weight up to pay me back, see, Shunny? Go get the green pad junior. Put it in your cloning dome, see? You're gonna get some more roots faster. Cut days off your cloning time. More harvest year round. That's right, see? Activated by humidity. 35 to 50%, so make sure that's right, okay? Go to your local hydro shop, see?
That's right, go there now. More root, more fruit, more fruit, more root.
That's right.
Yeah, meow. Meow.
That was awesome.
Something wasn't right when you said you grew 4 pounds of light. Then you went and picked a fight with the host of the show. He put you in your place, verbally bitch slapped your face. Worse than Duff's wife's herpes case. Y'all ain't homies no more. Go try a cocoa. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Fuck, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a cocoa grow. Has to be better than your cubes of mold. Stop using Aglo. Hey, try a cocoa grow.
A bitch, a rockville scientist.
Hope you like algae, because that's all your rockville will breed. You can't call what you grow weed, and even Duffman agrees. Everybody knows.
What's up, Javonki? Oh, I can't do beer.
With a heavy T-show.
Give me a straw.
Like one of Porty's hoes, you don't know when to just go. Go try a cocoa. 562-653.
Am I on?
Yes.
Hello.
You're on.
This must be heaven.
Hello.
This
This is Dead Tea. I'm gonna have a show in Las Vegas. It's gonna be at the Golden Nugget.
Juggernaut tea.
It's like a new horror movie, Shroom Tea.
It's a little dispensary on the outskirts of North Las Vegas. Come through. See me. Dead Tea. Anyways, welcome back, Kevin G's Grow Show. What is? How do I sound, Say?
Sound loud.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear. Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Thank you. I will just talk normally. All right, we're talking more grow. Where's my phone? Oh, well, I mean, where's my hat?
There you go.
All right, my Smart Pots hat. Do I look like company man?
Very professional.
Do I look like Devin?
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Very professional.
Make sure you send that to Smart Pots. They're trying to increase their sponsorship. Let them know I'm a company man. All right. Let's go on over back to Ronnie. Ronnie has some technical difficulties.
What's going on, man?
What's growing on, Ronski?
Just chilling. What up, Cocoa Ninjas?
You know, just be ninjafying everything.
Hey, Shroomy Tea.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
What's your question?
I'm just trying to increase my production here, man. I've been having a hard time just trying to get, like, a good yield out of... I'm running 1,000 watt Gavitas in cocoa with 5-gallon fabric pots. And, right, I just increased my...
How many packs you getting per light?
What's that?
What you getting per light right now?
Dude, I'm barely, like, if I'm lucky, I'll hit 2.
Well, that isn't horrible. What strain is it?
Right now, I just got some. I just started running some 9-pound hammer. That looked pretty promising, and then I have some blue sherbet, and then a Paraso G.
Okay, so which one are you getting around 2 a light?
The biggest one I've gotten so far is my 9-pound.
Okay, and your environment is what? Is it sealed off? Are you infusing CO2, or are you exchanging air? What's
CO2,
up?
I'm sealed off. And I mean, I got my temps about 75 degrees, and then humidity around 65.
Okay, that's a little high. If you got a high humidity, the VPD chart is going to have you a little bit higher on your temperature. You're going to go up to about 80. Look, science, black market cultivators.
I was going to say, it sounds scientific.
Yeah, I know it does. Jungle Boys taught me that. I follow them on Instagram.
I learned VPD from them, too.
So you want to, if you're that high humidity, you need to have it a little bit warmer. But that is a little bit higher than that I would feel comfortable with as far as disease control in a smaller grow. If you have larger grows and you know what you're dealing with, it's a little bit easier to control those type of circumstances. But nonetheless, tell me about what type of grow or how you're growing. You said you were in cocoa in 5-gallon pots. Are you scrogging them out? Are you using a trellis? Are you using bamboo stakes? Are you filling up the entire area that's lit?
When I'm vegging, I'm vegging in 1-gallon pots, and then I'll just tie them down because I have to move them to my other room, so I can't trellis them yet.
Right,
so I'll just tie them down
that's
with
normal.
like little like rope or whatever to spread them out, and then once I put them in the other room, I put them down under the net, under the trellis.
Man,
try
that
to
sounds
get
like a lot
more
of
even
extra
canopy
labor.
now.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You don't necessarily have to tie them down. Training and stuff does start during veg, but it's primarily through pruning and selecting
Okay.
and keeping a nice even canopy, topping them if you're going to top them, or super cropping them if you're going to super crop them. But where you're driving the hormones, so all the branches shoot up, so it's a nice little hedge, right? When you go into
Yeah.
bloom, though, that's what I'm most interested in. It's a trellis, a scrog that's completely filled, or do you have gaps where the light's hitting the ground? Tell me about it.
It's this. I'm using the trellis and then trying to get it to fill, like you said, like pretty much every little square of the trellis. So I went from 6 plants. I bumped it up to 8 per table, which is a 4x4 table, to try to fill in all the gaps.
Are you only using one Gavita per 4x4 table?
Yeah.
I think you could spread that out, and then you'll get more yield per light that way.
You can increase the growing surface, but not everyone, the black market, not everyone has the ability. Let's say that he has a confined 4x8 area or a 10x10.
Well, what I have is a 12x12 area.
Oh shit!
That I can
There
kind
might
of
be
work
too many
with.
lights.
I got investment opportunities.
So I got a 12x12, and I got a total of 4 Gavitas, 1,000 watt Gavitas in there.
A Gavita 1,000 watt double ended typically will cover about a 5x6 area. But remember, they were designed for per light, but they were designed to overlap in multiple light installations. So I don't think that having less than 8 to 12 of them minimum is necessarily going to be like as you see like guys hitting 3 pounds of light no problem in a fucking 12 or 20 light room running Gavitas,
Yeah.
and you're like, hell yeah, and you go buy 2 or 4 of them and hang them up, and you don't get that light, you don't get those numbers because they're not designed to hang over like squares. They're designed to mount high and overlap to combat the loss in light output
story.
as you get further from the light bulb. So as one of them fans out like an umbrella and the one next to it over there fans out like an umbrella, where the 2 umbrellas would cross each other, it creates a brighter spot. And you can literally go on their site and type in your calculations of your room size, and they'll tell you where to hang them and how many to hang to get the amount of UMOL that you want to get for those lights. So they're not really designed to run just a couple of them, but
Gotcha.
I would still look at trying to cover about a 5x6 area per light, and go look at the spacing. Go to their website and send them a email on their light calculator and tell them the size of your room and your 4 lights, and they'll tell you where to hang them.
And let me do this, Ronnie, for
And
you a
how
little
high.
bit, rather than just asking you every little aspect of your grow, because we have only a little bit of time. I'm going to give you some general advice to increase your overall yield along with the other listeners out there. Trellising, great way to do it, right? Most people trellis wrong, though. They put a trellis on and just let the plant grow straight through it, and they're like, it's trellised. Look.
No, I bent the shit out of them.
Right, exactly, and that's what you got to do. You got to train them down and through, and you also have to defoliate a shit ton. You have to drive the energy that the plant is getting from the light, your CO2, your water, your nutrients to the bud sites. And you got to remember, those are the reproductive organ of that plant. So if the plant does not become pollinated, it will continue to push out more and more bud. But if you have a bunch of leaf that is trying to keep alive because the plant, it's a body, right?
They share resources.
Right. And so you want to drive more resources there. So defoliating it, and especially indoors, what defoliating also does is it allows constantly.
Oh, during bloom?
Constantly.
Yeah.
I do it. I go hard where I'm actually on a bucket, Edward Scissorhands over there, where they look naked as fuck. Usually 3 or 4 days before I'm going to flip them so they can come out of the stress that causes. And I will do it again maybe 10 to 14 days in if they need it. But every time I'm in the garden, I'm walking through, picking handfuls out. I walk around with a 5-gallon bucket and just load them up. Because once you do it once, those little leaves grow into big leaves that are now shading flowering sites.
I defoliated like you said, like right when I put them in, and right now the ones that I have are about 23 days in, and it's fucking full again.
Yeah, it looks like you didn't do shit.
And the leaves underneath that aren't getting light, that appear to be lighter in color,
take them off.
Just get rid of the plants
right
already.
off.
Yeah, the plants already shutting them down and using their resources. Get them out of there underneath. And a good way to know when to flip into bloom is so that you don't grow the plants too big and overcrowd them, is when 2/3 of your trellis is full of plant material, go to bloom. You don't want to wait till the whole thing is flush with plant, because it's still going to be another 2+ weeks of them vegging as they transition, right?
A good example of this
So
is
a bird's eye view of above, when 2/3 of your area is full of canopy, when 2/3 of the squares in your trellis have like branches coming up through them and growing up, flip to bloom.
A good example of this, my man, is follow at Black Market Cultivators.
Yeah, I check your shit out all the time, man. I love the
No, you put it on there, and that's exactly. Hey, Black Market, where did you learn how to do that?
From Heavy Tea.
Yeah, dude, I didn't tell him to say that. He just knows that he's stuck on that side, and he's gonna get beer thrown at him if he doesn't.
And when you do see his pictures of his canopy all even, and it literally looks like there's a top branch coming out of every trellis hole, right?
Yeah,
and it's all
what I've been
even.
trying to get to, but
yeah, you probably are just vegging too long, and then when you flip to bloom, they start stretching like crazy, trying to be above each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need it. 2/3 of the canopy is full. Flip them to bloom.
Yep.
All right.
So extra train
and keep training them over those 2 weeks too, to train them into the empty spots.
Proper nutrition, proper watering schedule. You need to go from completely wet to dry. But a big mistake that a lot of growers do, including myself, was we're so scared of overwatering with good reason to be, because root rot, right? Most people have overwatered if they've grown. But overwatering means you're keeping it too wet too long. It's not how much you give it at once. For most growers, I've found that if let's say you have a 5-gallon pot, start giving them damn near a gallon every single watering that you give them. It should be probably about once a day if they're really getting their groove on with a 4-liter. But a whole gallon where you have that much runoff, and you will see the plant just starts taking off. Most people are underwater.
I hit them once a day, right when the lights turn on, until see runoff, and then that's it until the next day.
So start measuring out a gallon per day per plant.
A gallon a day per plant. Copy that.
I probably with 8 to 12 plants, you fill up a 5-gallon bucket, and that's it, right?
Yeah, well, I got them on Floraflex because I'm not always home.
Oh, damn.
So they just
Look
got
at
a fucking pump and it runs.
you a cocoa ninja scientist.
He's like, half rock will have cocoa.
Also remember that your watering schedule, the frequency and the amount that you'll water will change over time as the plants grow, especially in the middle to late bloom until they stop drinking as much. But when they're blooming really hard, you want to make sure that just watering them once a day in the beginning of the day, that they're not getting too dry and then having to go through the whole nighttime without water. Like, you might want to check them and maybe hit them with a little blast of water about halfway or 3/4 of the way through the light cycle, just to keep them wet. But you have to use your finger in the medium near the end of the light cycle, see how dry they are.
And when I start breaking
if
down,
they're drier than they used to be, you might want to water them another time.
When I start breaking down the cocoa, the advantages and disadvantages, one of them is that it does have a air-to-water ratio similar to what rockwool is, 25%, even upwards of 30%.
If you have perlite.
That allows you to water more often. So even if it looks wet, you're not going to end up into getting root rot. So
yeah, no, I haven't had any root rot issues. I mean,
no, but you could. My point being
the
is
Royal
that
Gold soil right now, they're super mix.
No, it's good stuff. And you should probably be using Big City Hydro Mix. I'm going to tell you why when I go into the cocoa, because for one, the gypsum lime in it actually it makes heavy metals immobilized, where the plant can't take them up.
Big City?
Yep, Big City Hydro. So if you're worried about heavy metals and you want less heavy metals, you need a cocoa that is treated not with calcium nitrate, but with gypsum lime, and it immobilizes those heavy metals. And it's a scientific fact. I'm becoming a cocoa scientist. I want to fucking stab myself in one eye, but I also want to pat myself on the back, but I'm getting tired. So I'm not going to do it. Listen,
I'm running them with heavy 16.
Okay, so
and Terpinator.
Well, I'll send you some Turpinator. Heavy 16 is a decent nutrient. You want to get a cocoa-specific nutrient? Oh, fun fact, too, with Rockwell Scientist guy. His favorite nutrient, which I was actually one of the founders of for that nutrient company, USA, is 100% designed for use in cocoa and compatible with other grow mediums. And that
And what's it called?
I invented it. We're not gonna say.
It comes in red bottles. It's easy to see at your local grow store.
Okay.
All right, my man. I'm gonna send you some more Turpinator and a 1,000-watt max par double-ended bulb. Out over there, $150 value on that bulb, and the Turpinator is like $80. Coming your way. Where do you shop at?
I appreciate it, man.
Where do you shop at?
I shop at San Diego Hydro.
All right, we'll send it out there or to you directly. Talk to Marcos Pollos. If he's shipping, you just may get it at some point.
One day.
Colin in Oregon. What's going on?
Nothing much. I was just wondering.
Are we on speaker?
Yeah, take us off speaker so we could hear you well.
Yeah, I was just wanting to talk to you about growing outdoor up in Central Oregon and how the weather fluctuation and having to. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
We're listening.
Fascinated.
Yeah, anyways, but my friend wanted me to call you guys to see what's up with nutrients because I have to build my soil out here.
Mission.
Okay, so listen, if you want to...
You have to build your soil because you want to or because you can't buy it anywhere because it's all bought by everybody else? Why do you have to build your own soil? Is that preference?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we're here, Colin.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, my man?
I can.
All right.
Why do you have to build your own soil?
Go get AT&T and drop that cricket phone.
Yeah, exactly. Up here, AT&T's garbage.
All right, Verizon then.
Anywho, up in Central Oregon, the soil's pretty crappy. So I have to get I've started out with horse manure, cocoa, mixing it up with what they had with the soil that was already there.
Okay, you're trying to amend the earth, basically.
Yeah.
Have you considered maybe getting smart pots and growing above ground and filling them with a premium soil?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well,
That's
you're
why
making
I'm
you're
trying to
making
call
your
you
you're
so
making.
I can get the nutrients to get premium.
Okay. Yeah, no, so what we're doing is we're just trying to get to the bottom of it to try and answer your question the best we can, Colin. So
You're saying that you have to build your
own soil. We're not taking
soil.
shots at you, but we're
Right.
just trying to get to the bottom of it so we could give you a correct answer.
Have you just considered purchasing pre-made soil specifically for what you're trying to accomplish, or are you more into trying to build your own?
I could buy a great grow any week, but I'm trying to grow a nice grow.
So you want to personally build your own soil?
I am. I have. I've already done it the last 2 years.
Okay.
And it's been crappy herb. It doesn't have any crystals much, but it's growing. And I got a harvest off of out of that soil that we're talking about. I made.
Man, we got such a bad connection, Colin. We'll try to get you back on a different line here real quick. No, hold on, Colin.
Can you go stand on the roof?
Marcus is gonna, but let's work on a super soil mix. So listen, I have a Dutch master recipe mix that I send out in a newsletter that is awesome. It starts with cocoa as a base. Cocoa is a great base to start with a super soil mix. Cocoa, for the most part, if it's prepared correctly, is going to be inert. It's going to have some nutrients as well as some aspects of it because it's organic that are already in there, but it's going to be a very low ppm. So it's basically a great base, way better than peat and way more sustainable than using peat as well because peat is mine. Cocoa is made from cocoa husk, coconuts. So what you do is you start with that as a base and you mix in, if you want horse manure or cow manure, I'm not a big fan of using that type of large animal byproduct. Remember, if you're using that byproduct, you are putting in what that animal consumed, right? And when I go into heavy metals, I talk about this, that is a big contamination factor for excess heavy metals in cannabis, because cannabis is an accumulator plant that then will take in what you're putting in. So if your horse is out there feeding on a field that used to be a strip mine or used to be a fucking whatever it is, it's taking in what's possibly growing out of the plants that are in there, and it's the byproduct of that animal. So look at things that are based on that are based on what's the word? Not vegan, not vegan, but more
veganics.
Yeah, that are more vegan, basically. So you look at different salts you put in, rock phosphate, which can have heavy metals in it as well, but azomite, what else? Certain blood meal and bone meal, which comes from byproduct of animals, but will be tested for purity. When you buy these things from fertilizer companies that rely on food or horticultural grade, you really reduce the risk of what kind of gnarliness you're putting in there. So whether it be kelp meal, chicken shit, fucking oyster shell, all these things, all these things, you put it in the right ratio, but start with a good base. Don't use your native soil. If his native soil is shit, and it sounds like he was complaining or saying that his grow wasn't as good as it could be because the soil he was using. So you were asking him, why don't you buy some soil that the people did the heavy lifting?
So he was saying that for the last couple of years, he's been adding manure and stuff and trying to build his own soil, and he's been having shitty results.
I think we have him back. Let's see. Colin, you there now? Colin, are you there? Colin, we're here.
Yeah, Colin's right here.
Okay, so Colin, instead of trying to, you've been struggling for a few years trying to get your own personal mixed soil to do what you have the performance that you're looking for. And all I'm saying is it's already available. You can just go buy it in bulk or from the store.
Bulksoil.com, they'll deliver a truckload to you.
Don't plant your plants into the ground. You can plant them into like a smart pot above ground, which helps get more oxygen to the plants. So if it rains too much, your plants aren't going to be too soggy. So instead of trying to build your own soil, if you're stuck on a fucking deserted island and you got to build your own soil, build your own soil. But when you can just go buy it and have success, you feel me?
Yeah.
And if you have, and I'm an experimenter. That's how I got to where I am. I tried everything. So if you want to try to keep building your own soil,
you tried most of it.
Do a couple plants over here and try it. But the majority of your plants use something that's reputable and that is known to work, right? And then do the Pepsi challenge with a couple.
So go do this, Colin. Go to bulksoil.com. If you need a shit ton of soil, go to bulksoil.com. It's sanctuary soil, and they deliver up and down the West Coast. You go there, they'll give you a quote to deliver you high-quality soil, like their Empire Builder, their Happy Hippie, something along the lines of what you want to do. It's built from.
That's a good base to start from, yeah?
It's not just a good base.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine to plant in as your primary mix. You don't have to amend it.
Right now, I've had to use it, put them in pots, and go and take them in and out of that house. I've just been putting it. They were indoor. Now I'm going to go take them to outdoor. So I'm kind of slowly but surely every day I bring them out, let them get done, and then bring them in because it gets so cold out here in the high desert. And so I'm kind of just feeding them into that soil that I made in the bed. They're just in pots right now.
You don't have to plant them into the bed of the soil that you're trying to make. You can just plant.
I got they're in good soil. They come from good clones. So.
But then you're going to take them outside and put them in the ground, right?
I haven't done that transfer yet into my soil into what they came from.
But eventually you're going to take them outside and put them in the ground in your beds that you made your own soil, right?
I hope they are healthy enough to
Well, how about this? How about you put a couple in the beds that you made and put a couple in smart pots sitting on top of the ground that you put the same performance soil you're growing them indoors in now and grow them next to each other. So that way you can compare at the end. I personally think that instead of getting a crop that you're not happy
call us
with
next year and say the same thing happened.
Right. So you can do a side-by-side comparison, but you taking them outside and putting them in the ground into a soil that you obviously haven't built optimally yet over a couple of years.
Yeah, I've never crushed a good crop
Right,
out of the bed, but I've gotten a good amount.
So the safe bet is don't take them all outside and put them in those same beds you've never crushed. Put a couple in those beds, and right next to them, put them in smart pots sitting on top of the ground, and fill the smart pots with a high-performance, pre-made, already proven soil, and grow them next to each other so you still get what you're looking for from the good smart pots. Or you find out that they both suck and it's something else.
I'm going in the right direction with my bed, too.
Exactly. And then you're not like going another whole year with a bunch of bunk because now you're on your fourth year of trying, right? So
one of the best things you can do for any soil is add biology. Add biology, add plenty of mycorrhizae, aerobic biology. Don't go anaerobic. Don't start making your labs and grow kashi and all this where you are fighting it. Stay aerobic. Use mycorrhizae. Stay away from aggressive bacteria like trichoderma. But that will work in a symbiotic relationship with your root zone and bring in the good and fight off the bad of your grow mix. More biology, the better. And it starts with getting that as soon as you transplant in contact with the root zone. It's an endomycorrhizae, which means it only becomes active when it comes in contact with your root zone. And it will pull in.
You never see it then because it's in the root.
You never see it. You see it when you plant it and put it in there. And you use dechlorinated water. If you're using well water, that's fine. Know that certain heavy metals or salts in well water will dehydrate microorganisms, so you need to re-inoculate with teas and whatnot. But use...
that's what I've been doing is a lot of teas the last 3 years. And they're not...
Okay, so Horty, hold on. So what I'm going to do, my man Colin, I'm going to send you a complete set of Mission fertilizer with the granular and the liquid additives that is going... It's probably not enough for it's quart sizes and 5-pound bags, but it's probably. But listen, it's probably not enough for you to treat your entire grow, but it will help.
I can sprinkle it. Sprinkle me, baby.
Motherfucker, you drinking more than I am right now? Dude, you're a soil guy. What kind of name? We got the Cocoa Ninjas and the Rockwell Scientists. What kind of name should we call?
Because I'm from Chico, Northern California. I like the Dirtbag. That was a good one.
All right, Dirtbaggers. We got one vote for Dirtbaggers.
Soil Neanderthal.
Soil Neanderthal.
Soil Neanderthal.
That's what. Straight up, I feel like I'm a Neanderthal sometimes with that, but whatever. That's how you really learn to grow from the beginning to start. You know what I mean?
Hey, Colin, this year, keep the majority of your plants transplant. When you take them outside to transplant the majority of them into larger pots of already pre-made soil from the store, and put the smaller amount of the plants into your beds and run them side by side. And then that way you don't have your whole crop relying on you maybe finally figuring it out.
And it's a good call moving your plants around where you're keeping them warm at night. The way that this season's going.
I'd be treating them like as if I wanted. Like, sunny the last little bit. So I would get them out there, let them get the wind on them.
Right, get a base tan.
They don't get any mites or whatever, you know?
Let them get a base tan so that they don't get sunburned, right? Good idea. Thanks for calling, Colin. Is it break time?
All right,
buddy. Love you, brother.
I feel like Oregon is NorCal's NorCal.
Totally.
But he was from Chico. Oh, no. We know this guy.
30, isn't it?
No, we have a scientist on the phone. Chizzy.
Yo, what's up, man?
Are you scientisting right now?
And I'm just waiting in the car, man. As much, as scientific as I can get in here, waiting for my girlfriend.
Waiting for your girlfriend. Who is not waiting for their girlfriend, right? All the time.
Yeah.
So what's up, man?
Well, I was calling in to ask if there was a pH meter or something you'd recommend, because right now I'm in the market since my dog chewed up my meter.
My dog ate my meter.
Hold on. Tell me this story. How the fuck did your dog get your pH
I'll
meter?
be back, man.
Well, she didn't eat it. Just fucking chewed on it.
So how
I'm
did
a
she
pit
get
bull.
the pH meter in her mouth? Where are you leaving your pH meter?
I left it outside on the table.
Yeah, see, dog. This is a scientific
I
instrument.
think he just wants a pH meter as a prize.
It's fishing.
Yeah, that's our grand prize giveaway, man. Which I'll give you a hint right now. The grand prize question is, it has something to do with the song that we've been playing.
Uh-oh.
There you go. But yeah. So best pH meter is a Blue Lab pH meter, and we're giving away one on the grand prize. You need to know anything else? So pick up your. Call your girl, text her right now, say, get in the motherfucking car, because I need to keep listening to the Heavy T Grow Show. Well, maybe you say stay in work or wherever she is, so you can listen without her talking. And where she keeps saying, why the fuck you listen to this? This sucks. How come all these women hate us? This is not a
I
female-driven
don't know.
show.
We're handsome. We're smart.
And we have beards.
You'd think they'd love us.
Yeah. Maybe our tits are bigger than theirs, so they're jealous.
That's a problem.
Yeah. All right, Chizzy, I'm going to send you a swag pack, but the best pH meter is the Blue Lab pH meter, man. Thanks for calling. 562-653-0707. I still have my Cocoa rant to go on. We're running out of time. There may have to be a conclusion next week. Oh, teaser. Hey, it didn't. Aldridge, it did not take me 5 minutes to come up with the word teaser. Maybe a minute and a half. All right, check this out. Horty Chris, Dr. Duff is in here. We're coming back with more grow questions. 562-653-0707. Thank you at Black Market Cultivators for sitting in. You stay here. We're going to do our grand prize. We're going to do our thing. We're going to talk cocoa and the ridiculous requirements for heavy metals that the state of California has imposed on these Prop 64 guys. No wonder why the black market's flourishing. I mean, it's damn near impossible to grow in California. Like, they want you... The problem is that all these regulations and restrictions and everything are designed and implemented by people that haven't grown. Not even fucking tomatoes. They don't know what it takes to grow an agricultural crop.
So they put a bunch of heavy
They don't even know how to grow a beard.
restrictions on it. Yeah, they don't have beards.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude.
They were scientists.
We'll be back. Heavy T's Grow Show right here with at Black Market Cultivators, at Horty Chris, at Heavy T Grow Show. You dig? We'll be right back. DFZ Radio.
One more time.
Thanks to
Back in the loop.
Thanks to Upstate Grower for making this song.
DFZRadio.com.
Then you went and picked a fight with the host of the show.
Only believe in science. That's probably why we never win.
Verbally, bitch slapped your face. Worse than Duff's wife's herpes case. Y'all ain't homies no more. Go try a cocoa. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Fuck, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a cocoa grow. Has to be better than your cubes of mold. Stop using Paclo. Hey, try a cocoa grow.
A bitch, a Rockwell scientist.
Hope you like algae, because that's all your Rockwell will breed. You can't call what you grow weed, and even Duffman agrees. Everybody knows you shouldn't fuck with a heavy T show. Like one of Horty's hoes, you don't know when to just go. Go try a cocoa. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Oh, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a cocoa grow. You're hated more than even Vinnie Stone. And that's really fucking low. Go try a cocoa.
Don't be a bitch, a Rockwell scientist.
Hey, I'm in the zone.
Dude, this shit is
Every Wednesday night from 6 to 10 Pacific Standard Time, who's hooking you up with the dopest grow knowledge and the freshest grow gear?
Heavy T's Grow Show. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I love it.
Hey,
every day.
Thank you for the birth.
You're gonna go get the green pad, see? That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go get it right now. Go on down to your local hydro shop. Tell them Shunny sent you. That's right, Shunny with the green pad. More CO2 in your garden. More carbon, more weight, see? You need to get that weight up to pay me back, see, Shunny? Go get the green pad Junior. Put it in your cloning dome, see? You're gonna get some more roots faster. Cut days off your cloning time. More harvest year round. That's right, see? Activated by humidity. 35 to 50%, so make sure that's right, okay? Go to your local hydro shop, see?
That's right. Go there now. More root, more fruit, more fruit, more root.
That's right.
Yeah. Meow. Meow.
You are listening to the Heavy Tea Grow Show. Call in right now, 562-653-0707 for your chance to talk to Heavy Tea, Horty Chris, or Dr. Duffman. Killing it.
Hey man, your garden smells amazing this year. What are you doing different?
Haven't you heard? We've been using the Turpinator.
Did you say Turpinator like terpenes?
Yes, exactly. Turpinator is designed to increase your plant's terpenes, which are responsible for everything from how your plants smell to how much flavorful oils they produce. Basically, Turpinator is the one-stop shop for an overall quality increase for your fruits and flowers.
That's awesome. You know, I can tell the Turpinator has not only increased the oils in all your herbs and flowers, but it looks like it's going to increase your dry weight as well. And dude, don't even get me started on those crystals. They look like mini icebergs.
Well, you better hurry up and get on board. It's flowering season right now. And since Turpinator is made right here in Sonoma County, you can literally find it in any hydro store in town. Boost your plant's oils and bring out flavors that will drive your friends wild. Turpinator. Sticky is an understatement.
Happy birthday!
That was awesome.
Have you ever been interested in gardening with dry fertilizers? Well, you're not the only one, and let me tell you about Vermicrop Organics and their line of organic dry fertilizers. Healthy plants with a simple 4-step process. Step 1. Just measure out a half teaspoon per gallon of soil or 2 cups per 12 square feet of soil surface area. Step 2. Apply evenly to the soil surface. Step 3. Blend into the top layer of soil to avoid caking. Step 4, water thoroughly. And that's it, simple as that. Great for vegetables, fruits, flowers, potted plants, trees, shrubs, annuals, and perennials. It's Vermicrop Organics VermiVeg 744. Along with the VermiBloom and PK Boost, you will have a complete line of organic nutrients and a garden that will thank you with a great harvest. Looking for an even simpler way? Then check out the Vermiall 666. This game-changing mix is formulated for all stages of growth and the fast-paced garden of champion vegetable and flower growers. And check out the Vermi Bat Guano Fertilizer and the Vermi Blood Meal Fertilizer for feeding oversized, nitrogen-hungry plants. Learn more at vermicrop.com. That's vermicrop.com.
Hey, Dr. Duff, are you signing up for another one of those internet dating sites after your divorce?
Nah, I'm just ordering these freaking douchebags from China here. Just gonna be saving a lot of money on it. About $1 a bag.
Did you say douchebags?
Yeah, they're pots. They're fabric pots. They're, made in China. They save $1 a bag from all the other.
Oh, it sounds like an imitation smart pot or something.
Yeah, save $1, but, I'm pretty sure these douchebags are gonna work.
Dude, I had a buddy of mine who used those same douchebags. He bought them direct from China. It killed his whole garden.
Bro, what? So I'm better off spending that extra $1 on a smart pot?
I'd get a smart pot.
Don't be a Duff man. Make sure to buy the original patented Smart Pot. Check them out at smartpots.com.
Sorry, Horty. Game over.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bring in the Riser Blast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
10, 9. Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella, Chlorela's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits used in Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, the use with any growing medium or hydro system, its ideal use for transplanting, and the enhancement of your plant vigor in fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rhizoblast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
Yeah. Naps. Knock off. What up, Saint? And we hustle. Hustle hard. Team ADX anthem. Hey, oh. What these niggas want from me? Haters wanna eat now, you never get lunch from me. Get off my tailcoat, get off addiction. Team full of mean niggas, team green like it's Listerine. Don't cross the squad, man, we get them off, man. We on the front court shooting, you just a ball fan. I'm on the top back, y'all do it all bad. Grind on the regular, tell competitors all bad. Test the team, homie, watch you fall flat. Don't want the fame, but the change, I need all that. Hustlers get your guap up, rappers get your props up. Cause sky is the limit and we got heaven on lock up. Back down to earth, street swerving down Atlantic. Long Beach riding to death, we straight smash. This is for my family, this is for the masses. This ADX anthem in case anyone asks it. Oh, I'm taking this shit head on. In the streets till 6 in the morning. Niggas don't want no rockets. Tell me who won it with these shots up, boys. We say hustling. Catch me in the booth till the night. Streets holding tight. Grind for my life on the light. Niggas don't want no rockets. Bring the bullshit and we'll be dumping. Boy, we say hustling.
Hey, I rep my team, rep my city, and rep my scene. D, I'm down for mine, on the grind all the time, like overtime. X, I ride to the death, can't do it like this, so don't try to step. Can't move it like this, so don't try to test. Got shotters on the side of me, right in my left, cause we do it so swift, we do it so sick, and we ain't gonna stop. We got money to get, we got honeys to flip, got the streets on lockdown, so why would we stop now? We holding the spot down. Sour diesel Hennessy, a bad bitch next to me. ADX human going down up in history. Do it to the death of me, so ain't nothing left of me. Dumping off the weaponry, hold it down for centuries.
Taking this shit head on. In the streets till 6 in the morning. Niggas don't want no rockets. Tell me who won it with these shots up, boys. We say hustling. Catch me in the booth till the night. Streets holding tight. Grind for my life on the light. Niggas don't want no rockets. Bring the bullshit and we'll be dumping. Boy, we say hustling.
Whoa. We stay hustling.
We stay hustling. That was the anthem right now by the Addiction Music Team.
Yeah, welcome back. Have a Decent Growth Show right here on DFZ Radio.
I see you got a new cam up. You got some Coco Ninja Vision.
We have our
going
Coco
on.
Ninja Vision, which is straight through the Coco Ninja eyes of Black Market Cultivators, if you're not watching. Oh, and we see Horty Chris's third chin in there. That's all you see when you're a Coco Ninja.
More chins than a Chinese phone book.
You got to bend down a little bit, Horty, so we can get you in there. Not going to happen? Okay.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. 562-653-0707. That's the phone number you want to call in. Oh, thanks for calling. Mike in Ventura. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
So am I.
What's going on, man?
You know, just having a fun day, night, whatever it is. What's going on? What's your question?
So my question, with my clones, after about a week, starting to get yellowing in my leaves. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that.
Are you keeping them overly wet?
No, I've been starting to spray them a little bit with some Ponex spray.
Are they rooted?
Not 100%. You can see them coming off the stem, though.
Are the leaves that are turning yellow like the lower leaves or the actual tip of the plant?
It's more the lower.
That'll happen as the plant roots. It will take the the nutrients and energy that it needs from those leaves on the bottom to help it grow, because you're obviously not feeding it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's typically normal. Once they root, though, you should be able to remove those leaves and the plant should grow healthy. Is that not happening?
Should I remove them as I see them, or?
Yeah, I mean, once they turn yellow, go ahead and remove them. But usually that won't happen in that week to 10 days it takes to root. When you see the lower leaves, the ones that are below the tip starting to change color, it usually doesn't happen right away, right? It's after like 5 days or so you start to notice it, right? That's where you know the plant is starting to rebound from being cloned and starting to produce roots, and it's using the built-in nutrients that it has, and that's perfectly normal.
So what grow medium are you actually cloning in?
Rockwool.
Okay, Rockwool is less susceptible than peat plugs to this, but why I did ask about how wet they are is because if they're overly wet or you have water down below that keeps wicking it out, it will actually draw out nitrogen from your cloning solution. You are using a cloning solution, right, that includes some nutrient?
Yeah, definitely. I'm using Elite 91.
Okay, great. So that has some nitrogen in it. If it's too wet, it will draw it out, and you'll notice that it starts getting a lighter color and then yellowing from the center out when that starts happening, because nitrogen is a mobile nutrient. So it starts getting pulled out of, it's actually leaching itself out of the cube. So that could be a problem if you start seeing that, especially once roots form. Give it some food, all right? And feed them a light dilution of a base nutrient, an A and B, a powder, whatever you have. But use that, and also know that certain temperatures, too hot, too cold, too humid in the dome, can cause the same effects, right? So that's why a lot of people have trouble at cloning. It's not difficult once you get it down, but it is learning it. And we tell people to take twice as many clones as that you'll think you'll need, because you're going to have some die.
And if the yellowing continues and goes up to the growing tip of the plant, above the more mature leaves that you left on when you cloned it, that's cause for concern, especially if it still hasn't popped roots and it's been 2 or 3 weeks and now the whole thing is turning yellow. You've got issues, but it's a natural occurrence for the plant as it roots those older leaves at the bottom that it's used to keep itself alive. They will die off, and you will notice that as they start to change color. As long as the top of the plant is still green and healthy, and you produce roots in a normal time, it's really not a big deal. So, it might not look that pretty, but it's a natural progression.
And exchange of air. We do have them in the domes, and the air does get stale. The plants need CO2. Use Green Pad Juniors. In fact, I'm going to send you some Green Pad Juniors, so that it will keep the plants greener, but it will also help them root faster. I'll send those out to you. I'm also going to send you a swag pack that includes things from all of our sponsors and some gear from us, like T-shirts and stickers and things like that. Again, though, just take twice as many as that you think you'll need, and understand as well that certain strains do not clone as easy as others. Okay,
Gotcha.
so another example of why they could be yellowing if it's too moist and they're dampening off, or they're rotting at where the stock goes into your Rockwool.
Okay.
And once they root and you transplant them, remove those ugly-looking leaves.
And dude, don't leave the dome on too long.
Yeah.
Like, leave the dome on for 2 or 3 days. On the 3rd day, open up all the vents, and then on like the 5th day, take it off. Just take it off.
Leave it off.
Leave it off. And right now, where are you? It just says Ventura. Oh, Ventura. So you probably don't need a heat mat unless you're on concrete.
Gotcha.
Okay. Too much heat can cause all those problems too.
Okay, cool.
All right, smoke weed every day, my man. I'm sending that stuff out. Talk to Marcos Pollos. He's going to tell you how to get hooked up. 562-653-0707. Marcos, I see, actually locked the phone lines. So we are going to take our last call, talk about cocoa and heavy metals, and go to our grand prize question immediately after. So D in the north. He's just from the north. D, grower of the north.
Oh, it's Greg.
Is Greg?
Yeah. What? I didn't say,
Huh?
I kind of had some symptoms with my plants, man. I want to see what you say I should do with it.
I don't know.
All right, well, what's up?
Well, like say the bottom, the top of it looks good, you know, it's praying and all that stuff. But then, like, kind of in the bottom, the bigger leaves are kind of drooping down. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's common or I should give it a little bit more fertilizer to kind of make those kind of lift up.
Are the lower leaves in intense light?
Yeah.
How tall is the plant?
It's probably like 2.5, 3.
Okay, the leaves that'll prey are the ones that are normally up top. The stuff below will, as it gets larger, it will kind of tend to hang down a little bit. Do the leaves that are drooping, do they look like fucked up, or do they just don't stand up? Like,
No, they look good.
Yeah,
No,
so-
that's what I'm saying. They look
So
good.
they're
They don't look
drooping.
yellow
Yeah,
or nothing like that. Maybe there was like one.
Hanging.
the more mature leaves at the bottom won't prey like the leaves at the top of the canopy where the light is hitting them. But you should be removing those leaves that aren't getting light because they're taking away energy from the stuff at the top that is.
So it's normal, and you
What,
just take
what,
them
what I want to do is that the little branches that come up through this kind of, what should I just get rid of?
Yeah, cut them off.
Yeah, cut them off. Prune up the stuff on the bottom.
Listen to Black Market Cultivators. He is a bomb gardener.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to, I didn't want to waste anything.
Yeah, you're probably just overthinking it. The stuff underneath the canopy isn't going to get light, so it's not going to produce because it needs the light to produce. So whatever's down there, those little snarfy buds that look like little thumbnails size where you've got huge flowers up top, they're taking away the energy that could be going to the top. So all that snarf you got growing underneath, at the end when your top flowers have like holes in them where they didn't fill out completely, it's probably because all that stuff below was taking the energy away and not letting the top flowers produce to full potential. So, I mean, are you in veg still, or are you in bloom, or?
No, I'm already like in the third or fourth week. But
Okay, so
I
in
don't
the
know, man,
third
it
or
seems
fourth
like
week,
this
in the third or fourth week, you should not have any foliage on the bottom 6 inches of the plant at least.
All right. Yeah, it just kind of seems like this cookies it just takes a long time. It's like a 12 weeks or some shit. The longer I leave it, the seems like the better the nuggets get on it.
Absolutely. And you know those little branches that shoot up from underneath that are like the size of a toothpick and don't have leaves all over? They just have leaves at the top. All of that you should get rid of. Those little dandelions, those 6-inch straight stalk.
I just feel like I kind of shorting myself sometimes when I do that. I don't want to.
No, you're not. You're shorting yourself if you don't remove them because you're trying to concentrate the energy of the plant to the stuff. It's keeping everything alive that's on it.
You're going to have a lot of small
Flower,
buds,
right.
or you're going to have some colas that, if you took them off, you're going to have big-ass colas up
probably
top.
try to do that. I just kind of, man.
Well, I mean, if he's already 12 weeks in, don't do it right now.
No, he said he's only 3 to 4 weeks in. You should remove that lower growth for sure. It's not going to hurt anything. And if you're scared to, just remove it at different amounts across a few plants. And then at the end, you'll be convinced because you'll be like, oh, shit, the ones I trimmed up the bottom and removed all those leaves.
That's what I kind of do. I kind of, little by little, like, all right, I'll try to,
And let me ask you this. Those leaves underneath that are kind of droop.
I haven't really got to that point where I'm seeing any,
You know those leaves underneath that are kind of droopy? If you, like, touch them with your finger, like, they just snap right off fall on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the plant's cutting them off.
So
They'll eventually fall off anyways. So just take them off now.
All right.
Where do you hook them up, Heavy T?
All right, I'm going to send you some Mission Fertilizer. I'm going to send you some Smart Pots, my man. I'm also going to send you some swag from back there. And remember, if Marcos Pollos is shipping, you just might get it.
Hey, I'm cool, man. There's a couple, some of those shirts are cool, man. I like sporting them, man. Those motherfuckers are badass.
All right. Well, hold on. What do you got, Saint? Saint wants to play you a song for a shirt.
Mexican Americans don't like to just get into gang fights.
They like to call Heavy T and say, oh, what? I don't know what I'm doing.
Mexican Americans win free prizes, and then they throw it in that they could use a couple T-shirts too.
Mexican Americans growing rock wool.
Because they're not ninjas, because they're really scientists.
Mexican Americans love education, so they go to night school and they take Spanish
And get a B because they're listening to Heavy T. All
We'll
right.
probably all die by being stabbed by a Mexican American because we keep fucking poking fun at them with this song all the time. They can't wait to come to the customer appreciation event to meet us, but then they're gonna shank us with a screwdriver when we're not looking.
You missed it, dog.
Oh.
Yep. Well, don't worry. We'll have one never again.
Oh, man.
We come over to your house, man. You get some.
Nah, because my homeboy's going over there to Six Flags, man, so I could just went over there real quick with him, you know?
Well, check it out. You going to throw some carne asada on, get some Modelo's, because it's Modelo time, right? Hey, Cardinal. Hey, fool. I met this Heina over at Chick-fil-A, and I knew right away, dog, because I asked her what time it was, and she said it's Modelo time, fool. And I was like, she's a real one, Holmes. I fell in love right there.
You made carne asadas with nalgadas?
Her grandma makes the best ceviche.
I double wrapped my carne asada and went deep.
They make side money doing tamale deliveries.
Just kidding. I don't wear condoms.
Hey, thanks, man.
All right, D. Keep smoking and growing, man.
Thanks
You're doing
for calling,
great.
man.
Just remember, you're doing great, and keep calling. We're going to help you out. We have a lot of fun, but all we want to do is help people out. And
Absolutely.
And then, dude, too bad some people are so simple, talking about Rockwell scientists, that they don't know how to have fun. They take it so serious. How about even Dr. Duff? Dr. Duff couldn't separate his character from himself because it just started melting together. Because
that happened to me before, too. So
because he really was that guy.
But I didn't have a miserable character, so, you know. It's a little different. My character was like Antonio Brown.
Well, you're an asshole and got traded to the Raiders?
Just got so famous, was like, oh, my God, it went to my head.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, football season's going to start pretty soon. All right, let's talk about cocoa real quick, y'all. Pros and cons of growing in cocoa. What is up? What is cocoa and how is it made? You know, cocoa is a byproduct of coconuts, right? You crazy coconuts. Hey, ironically, natural rockwool was found in Hawaii, and you know what else is found in Hawaii?
Coconuts.
Coconuts.
You put the gypsum line on your coconuts and mix it all
Maybe
up.
all the scientists and all of the ninjas have a common ancestor.
That's Atlantis.
From Hawaii.
Right? It
that
was
gave
aliens.
smallpox
It was
to
aliens.
indigenous people and killed them off like an
Ancient
asshole.
astronauts.
It's made from cocoa, and it was first used in gardening in the West, actually, in the 19th century, but fell out of favor because low-quality cocoa at the time degraded and wasn't used for short-term growing. It was only until the end of the 20th century that it was rediscovered as an organic, environmentally sustainable substrate, and when new production methods made it possible to create hardier product, right? We talk about environmentally sustainable. Cocoa does not break down right away. You can amend it into beds where you plant your common crops without adverse effects, but cocoa by itself decomposes in about 20 years. All right, so it's not like it goes away. Rockwool never goes away, but cocoa still has an impact on the environment. It's not mined like rocks. It's grown, so it's more sustainable in that way. It's manufactured using the fiber torn from the cocoa shells. The tiny grains of coir are extracted from the cocoa shell and pulverized into a packageable growing substrate. There are three basic kinds of cocoa. The cocoa pith, or peat, that's what you commonly are using when we talk about like Big City or Ready Grow.
Looks
or
like soil.
Canned cocoa, yeah. It's rich and deep, dark brown in color. The density of the product means it retains water extremely well. So for this reason, you might not want to use cocoa peat just by itself. Use it with perlite, like we commonly talk about it. There's another, a second way is cocoa fibers. They're the stringy bundles that allow oxygen to easily penetrate a plant's root system. Now, in my experience, Horty, and black market cultivators, there is, in most packaged cocos, there's both in there. You'll get the stringy along with the pith. But in my experience, the ones that are higher in pith and less in stringier are higher quality. And I prefer those.
They're spongier and feel better.
And the other ones are cocoa chips, which are small chunks of core that combine the best properties of the peat and fiber. Basically, they just chop up the fucking coconut shell, right? If you're an experienced grower, you can prepare your own mixtures from these different types of cocoa, but I do recommend that you go buy a prepackaged one like the Big City Hydro. Benefits of using cocoa core, everyone. You get quick harvest and big yields. You use it as drain to waste, or you can automate it because there's a high air-to-water ratio, but it gives excellent results. And with the right cocoa core nutrients in your water bath, your plants spend less time searching for food and more time growing compared to like soil, right? Soil, you have to work with things decomposing and being readily available. We say you feed your soil when you're giving it nutrients or water, but in cocoa, you're feeding your plant. It is a hydroponic nutrient, and there's plenty of room and plenty of air for the root system. It has a pH neutral value, which is a big benefit compared to rock wool. You don't have to pre-treat it. You can plant right into it. And the range of fluctuation is far less than other grow mediums. The high air-to-water ratio, it minimizes harmful pathogens and reduces the risks of pests. It is an environmentally conscious product like I talked about, right? A cocoa tree produces about 150 coconuts per year. And the cocoa core uses all different parts of those coconuts.
You're using the inside anyway, might as well.
And then compared to rock wool, it is a reusable medium with minimal cost. You can properly treat it. It's durable. If you need to make it or prep it correctly for your next growth cycle, it's very easy and very easily to amend. Some of the drawbacks of cocoa core, most of them are grown in tropical areas in developing countries. So there's possible high salt content. You need to know where your cocoa comes from as well, because
fecal matter,
because they will wash it.
gnats,
They will
seagull
wash
poop.
it in salt water because there's not a lot of fresh water available. Your
Right.
fresh, if you got to walk 10 miles to get a jug of fresh water every day on the top of your head and walk back, you ain't washing your cocoa with it.
When you live on an island and you can't drink the ocean water, you're not rinsing your cocoa with your fucking water supply.
And listen, if the husks were soaked in salt water, you need to confirm it was rinsed with fresh water by the manufacturer. Reputable manufacturers is why you use that. You don't go get the white bag stuff that comes in at $5 a bag all of a sudden at your hydro store thinking it's going to be the same as your Dutchman cocoa that you're going to get from Sanctuary Soils. Another drawback is that most cocos are chemically treated. At the end of the drying process, after it's rinsed, they are treated with chemical agents to ensure pathogens didn't bloom inside. Learning how this was treated is a key. If it's treated with calcium nitrate, which also helps with replacing any heavy metals, because cocoa has a high cash-on exchange capacity, meaning that things will come and go easily. A higher weighted mineral will push out certain things, so they use calcium nitrate to treat it. For one, you need more calcium, but also it will push out certain elements and nutrients that you may not want in there, so it is ready to be planted into. Make sure you read the product label to refer to the manufacturer's website. One of the things, like I just talked about, because of the cash on exchange, cocoa can lock out calcium, magnesium, and iron. Cocoa core stores and releases nutrients as needed, but it tends to hold calcium, and it holds magnesium and iron. This means you'll need to use specific cocoa core nutrients to boost both the cal, the mag, and the iron for healthy crops. Cocoa core features that may be good or bad is basically you need to feed it daily. For some people, that's not feasible. For me, I prefer to feed it daily so I can see the growth rates associated with the hydroponic growth method, right? A lot of commercial growers love that feature because they can connect automated drip lines to their plants and do it a lot like they do with other inert grow mediums, such as Hydroton or Rockwool, like we talked about.
It's a true hydroponic method.
Yep. Once you understand how to grow in cocoa, it becomes fairly easy. The main source of problematic things come with the feeding and when to feed. Because it looks like soil, people treat it like soil, and they like to flush it. You don't need a flush.
Or they like to go feed, water, feed. Every time you have to feed it, just like you would in any other hydroponic medium.
Yep, and hold on one second, Harlan. Let me get back to where I was. God damn it. Fuck.
Let's talk about the heavy metals.
Okay.
So we're not here till 11.
Again. Okay, thank you.
only believe in
So that's basically the cocoa medium, right? Just make sure it's good. Make sure that it's treated correctly, and you're not using a bunch of different or things that you don't know what it contains. It needs to be washed and treated properly. Heavy metals and cannabis. So cannabis products can contain heavy metals. I told you that they are an accumulator plant. They absorb things in their environment and don't show adverse effects, even though it's in their plant tissue. So they can take in heavy metals. Primarily for cannabis, what people are concerned about are the cadmium. Is that how you say it? Cadmium, arsenic, lead, and mercury. So acceptable levels of heavy metal contaminants in cannabis right now are 0.2 micrograms per grams of cadmium, 0.2 micrograms per gram of arsenic, 0.5 of lead, and 0.1 of mercury. That is 0.2 is 1/20th, right? Or 1/5 part per million.
Yeah.
If it was 1 microgram per gram, that's 1 part per million, basically. That it's such a low level, it's unattainable because organic material will naturally have heavy metals from the environment. Let's take sea kelp, for instance, right? Sea kelp, because it's a plant, absorbs things from its environment. They grind it up and they put it in.
It's probably got plastic in it.
Most organic products actually have far more heavy metals than synthetic. And this is a raging debate between organic people and synthetic people, but it is. It's true because organics have more of these things in it. Now, whether it's being transferred to the plant or not or how it's transferred is a different story, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But, Horty, you looked up EPA standards for healthy air. These standards for cannabis far exceed what the EPA allows us to even breathe on a daily level or in a workplace, right?
What do you mean far exceed?
Well, we're talking you had 10 that it's allowable
10 micrograms of arsenic.
Basically 10 part per million in the air of arsenic. In my cannabis, I have 1/5. I have 0.2, not even 1. 0.2 part per million in my cannabis.
Which leads me to believe that they've made it unrealistic for anything to ever pass testing. Right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I used to be mad at Prop 64. Now I know it supports the black market. Black market cultivators. Woo! Where's them $4,000 pounds at, yo?
4,800.
We looking for them right now, dog.
Right now, it's going up.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't want any arsenic in something, and maybe it's different because you smoke it, or it's burned and inhaled directly into the lungs. But in the workplace, in an 8-hour day, assuming a 40-hour week, you can have 10 micrograms of arsenic in the air, and that's acceptable. Wow. And less than a fifth, 0.2.
How many are McDonald's French fries?
Is 50 times less. Can be in the plant tissue of a plant that will absorb it from the medium.
Environment. And listen to this, though. Sources of heavy metal contamination. There's basically 3 during the growth cycle, which can include the grow medium. It can include things in the air. You have to be aware of the fertilizers you're using. Most fertilizers are not made with food or tech-grade inputs. They're made with agricultural-grade inputs, which contain a lot of heavy metals. They're allowed to. So they're growing our food with it, but we can't grow cannabis with it, right? So it either is they're trying to kill us with our food and won't let us fucking grow the weed the way that we want, or that it's just it's not correct in the thinking that, hey, it's okay for your fucking tomatoes and cucumbers to have this much heavy metal in it, but not your cannabis. There should be a universal degree that is held to things that are grown
Or
that we're
even
ingesting.
more so, the amount of these things you're allowed to have in your cannabis is impossible.
And let's not talk
to-
even
to
bring
be-
up tobacco, because tobacco even far exceeds all of those
Oh
the
yeah,
allowable
they
heavy metals.
used to put fucking
So-
uranium on tobacco fields to help it grow, and now all the tobacco fields have literally radiation in them.
Well, that's why you have
That's
a
probably
glow
why
about
people.
you.
That's probably why people die from cancer.
Talking
from
about a glow, have
tobacco.
you seen that new show Chernobyl? Oh, your TV broke. Never mind.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any TV shows.
But
I've been
so you can be
watching
contaminated
Yo
through
Bitch.
the growth cycle during processing or post processing. Processing is the most common way that things are contaminated with heavy metals. They come in contact with certain things that are not food grade. Let's talk about scissors. You get your titanium scissors or whatever they are, and you put them in that sharpener, and there's some dust on your scissors, and you start trimming again on your cannabis. Where do you think that goes?
Those are heavy metals.
Yeah. Hey, what if you're listening to Metallica while you're trimming and it's in the air? Next thing you know, heavy metals.
More heavy metal.
Yeah.
The equipment used during processing can transfer contaminants to the product
You're
if
using
producers are
butane.
not cautious. Most of the contamination, and this is according to Pro Verde Labs, most contamination comes from the cannabis, does not come from the cannabis itself, but rather through the processing process. Even though another potential source is soil amendments and fertilizer, even though these may test below acceptable levels in batch tests, continuous repeated application can lead to accumulation of heavy metals above the limit in the plant.
Those people with the powdered gloves have
Are
a
you
problem.
reading this off of Occupy Democrats?
Yes.
Okay.
Copy and paste.
For most of the cases that Steep Hill is aware of, violations have come through some sort of soil amendment or treatment that was contaminated, and less than 2% of the regulated cannabis tested fails for heavy metals. Right? Heavy metals are bad. We don't want to, and there's a lot more we can go, and we're running short on time,
Yeah,
but heavy
please.
metals are bad. My point here being, there's plenty of studies as well by Cornell University. Look it up. Google Cornell gypsum lime cocoa core. But gypsum lime makes basically immobilizes existing heavy metals in the grow medium. So it's basically as inert as what rockwool would be, where the plant can't take it up. And this goes back to where the discussion about Cocoa Ninja and Rockwool Scientists, this is full circle of where we started. That the meme war and all that shit started because Jungle Boys failed a heavy metal test and blamed it on the fucking cocoa and kept going further with that. And we got into the thing of the Rockwool Scientists because you got to be a scientist, this or that. But I highly doubt if we're using canned cocoa that allegedly they were, that the source of contamination was from the canned cocoa. Most likely it was from the processing and the way that it was handled.
Didn't they used to grow in 6-inch Yugos?
But that being said, the cannabis regulations make it damn near impossible to be a successful fucking grower when it comes in contact with so many people during the supply chain. You have to run such a degree of sterility that it drives up your costs. And again, I mean, Prop 64, we lamented it, but it damn might make the black market flourish more than it had previously to Prop 64. It's so costly to operate in that environment. It's unobtainable.
Right.
There's going to be more and more failures. It's ridiculous. And in my opinion, I prefer to grow in cocoa. I am satisfied with growing in cocoa. Also, one of the advantages of cocoa, I get to use a lot more biology without adverse effects using drain to waste. I get to use my mycorrhizae and all of that. People can use that in Rockwool as well. I don't necessarily recommend it. I don't have to run chillers and shit to use it. I love growing in cocoa. The weed that I grow is at the. I'm gonna sound like Jiggity right here.
It's fire. I'll say it's fire, so you don't have to.
It is some of the best weed that I have smoked.
It's the shit that killed Bob Marley. It's the fucking greatest thing ever.
And by the way, Rockwell scientists, when you say, if you smoke good weed in the last 10 years, it was probably grown by me. Fuck you, dude. You're the biggest fucking too much Pac-Lo on your brain.
So at the end of the Rockwell versus cocoa debate, you say you prefer cocoa.
These were just facts that I laid out.
You prefer cocoa. I prefer either cocoa or Rockwell, depending on the size of the grow and all the other variables, right? I think that they both, because I'm a hydroponics guy, I would only use one or the other. I wouldn't use Hydroton. I wouldn't try to use some other gimmicky shit. If I'm doing a big system with like drippers and, big plants, just put it in cocoa so you don't have to have some elaborate return system and and have watering 10 more times a day. It's more things to go wrong. So what about you, Black Market Cultivator?
Don't be a noob, bro. You're not using a dosatron?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to either. That's why I went after Rockwells, because they're a tough competitor to cocoa. But I'd rather just use cocoa because I only have to water once a day, and then I know for 24 hours the plants are going to be alive until I go back there to water them again. Where if they were in Rockwell and they had to get multiple waterings a day, if something were to fail, I might come back to dead plants.
Right.
I find it kind of humoring that people were fucking spraying Eagle 20, Avid, and Floramite on their shit and damn well knew what it was doing and how harmful it was, and now are on their fucking and failing tests and getting fired for using Pylon and Eagle 20. And now they're on their high horse that you may get more than a 0.2 ppm of arsenic, which is a naturally occurring heavy metal in all organic material because it's a byproduct of its environment. In apples, you got arsenic, right? Naturally,
right?
It's in every fruit.
And the EPA allows our children, ourselves, our society to go around and breathe up to 10 ppm on a daily basis in your workplace as acceptable.
Just driving down the freeway with your window down.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and people need to get off their high horse. People need to do what you're going to do. Grow the best way you can. Keep growing. Use quality inputs. Stay away from gnarly pesticides. Use things like gypsum lime to immobilize certain heavy metals in your grow, and you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. And
absolutely.
Look at what you're using. Use food grade materials.
So the grand prize question is.
Hold on. I got the grand prize question.
It's 9:45. I got to use the restroom. You
okay.
Call the grand prize question.
Grand prize question is: we played a song, the Cocoa Grow parody.
Cocoa Grow.
We've said his name several times. Who sent us?
Exactly what I was gonna say. Great minds think alike, player.
But you grow in Rockwell and I grow in cocoa, so I'm better.
Scientist.
He actually doesn't grow at all.
Claims to grow in Rockwell, doesn't grow.
Claims to I'm making that meme right now. I'm putting it on. I'll put it on Jerome's head. Yeah. Who sent us the parody? 562-653-0707. You're going to get hooked up with the Blue Lab meter, Granddaddy pads, some Terpinator, some Mission fertilizer, and some Smart Pots right here from Heavy T. Call in 562-653-0707. Play that song one more time so they know what we're talking about. And everyone agrees.
Here we go.
4 hours
by the mysterious artist. Who is he? Call in. DFZRadio.com.
Then you went and picked a fight with the host of the show. He put you in your place. Verbally bitch slapped your face. Worse than Duff's wife's herpes case. Y'all ain't homies no more. Go try a cocoa. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Fuck, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a cocoa grow. has to be better than your cubes of mold. Stop using Aglo. Hey, try a cocoa grow.
Don't be a bitch, a Rockwell scientist.
Hope you like algae, because that's all your Rockwell will breed. You can't call what you grow weed, and even Duffman agrees. Everybody knows you shouldn't fuck with a heavy tea show. Like one of Morty's hoes, you don't know when to just go. Go try a cocoa. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Oh, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a cocoa, bro. You're hated more than even Vinnie Stone, and that's really fucking low. Don't try a cocoa.
Don't be a bitch, a Rockwell scientist.
DFCRadio.com.
Hey, bro, your garden's looking sweet, man. What are you using?
Yeah, man, I'm using a premium cocoa nutrient, Cocoa Tech A and B, man. It's an aggressive formula for increased yield during the flowering phase.
Wow, so this is made specially for cocoa?
You better believe it, man. It comes with easy-to-use 2-part formula, formulated aggressive growth and superior blooms. Whoa, bro. Yeah, man, tell 'em, Bob.
This aggressive formula contains proprietary blends of calcium to ensure your plants thrive. Backed by years of research, Cocoa Tech Premium Cocoa Nutrients are specifically designed to support and enhance your cocoa core growing experience. Use Cocoa Tech Premium Nutrients with Cocoa Tech Premium Cocoa Core for optimum results.
Yeah, man.
You are listening to Heavy T's Grow Show on DFZ Radio Network.
Dr. Duffman here. Wanted to talk to you about what I wish I had in my garden. And that, my friends, is a Nanolux double-ended fixture, which is leading the industry as I speak in double-ended technology. I will no longer need 10 150-watt lights to cover my 5x5 area. With just one double-ended fixture from Nanolux, I can cover that area. Also, no more need for that pesky Richter timer of mine that goes off at all kinds of random hours. With Nanolux's fixture, it comes NCCS ready, meaning I can control it on my computer. So if you're like me and your lighting situation sucks, then upgrade to Nanolux's double-ended fixtures today, and don't be a duff man. For more information on Nanolux, check them out at nanoluxtech.com. That's NANOLUXTECH.com.
Woo! 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 Ow! Love that money.
Heavy T Grow Show, baby.
So you're big time, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
Don't you put that evil on me!
Heavy T.
In this corner, Clonex Root Maximizer contains indoor mycorrhiza and a vascular mycorrhiza. Both are known for being beneficial to the majority of plants. The competition contains ectomycorrhiza, specifically beneficial for fir trees and not the majority of plants. Clonex Root Maximizer, created in vivo, meaning it's created in living roots. The competition, created in vitro, meaning it's created in test tubes and petri dishes. Clonex Root Maximizer, created in soil-like medium with natural organisms. The competition, created in inert medium like oil dry or kitty litter. Clonex Root Maximizer contains microbial diversity. The competitions include organisms that are irrelevant, like ectomycorrhiza fungi. Clonex Root Maximizer. Winner, new champion. Winner.
Mycorrhiza is a beneficial root fungus that increases the surface area of plant roots, which allow the plant to reach nutrients that might not be available otherwise. Put simply, mycorrhiza extends the plant's reach, allowing it to get more of what it needs to survive. Clonex Root Maximizer puts life into your garden by adding bountiful amounts of mycorrhiza fungi, beneficial bacteria, and trichoderma. That combines to improve the health and vitality of all plants. Treating your young plants with Clonex Root Maximizer will give them the head start needed to reach their genetic potential, leading to better quality and higher yields. Available in granular and soluble. Check it out, Clonex Root Maximizer, at hydrodynamicsintl.com. That's hydrodynamicsintl.com.
Heavy T hooked me up, man. Thanks.
That's right.
Big cities need a fast-paced life to grow. And in my fast-paced garden, I use the Big City Hydro Mix. It's available in bulk anywhere in California, organic certified, and made with calcium buffered cocoa. With a consistent pH, it works well with all container gardens and conventional feeding programs. Check with your local grow store for bags.
Check us out at bulksoil.com.
Hey, I'm in the
zone.
What is? Hey, are you a soil grower and tired of using salt and synthetic-based fertilizers and not getting the results that you wanted? Well, for hydroponics, those products work great. But in soil, they suck. All those feeding schedules are out of range for what we think is good for soil growers. Mission Fertilizer is a new product on the market that's specific to soil gardening. They have a grow, bloom, and boost. It's a super premium organic 1 part grow, 1 part bloom, and 1 part boost. It's a feeding program that can be used in bag soils like Ocean Forest and Happy Frog, Victory Mix, or Empire Builder, even Roots Organic, Royal Gold, and so forth. It can be used in any soil mix. Super simple to use, 1 part grow, 1 part bloom, and 1 part boost to get the most out of your garden. It's organic listed, pH stable, and safe to use with tap water. No need to ppm or EC or pH your tap water if you're mixing in Mission Fertilizer liquid. Go to missionfertilizer.com, grow the best, and see the proof is in the plants.
DFCRadio.com.
Drink in my cup, someone tell the DJ, crank it on up. Side diesel in my blood, purple drink in my cup, someone tell the DJ, crank it on up. Yeah, crank it up, crank it on up, crank it up. Sour diesel up in my blood, purple drink up in my cup, crank it up, crank it on up. On SD, got me smoking the bass, no stress cheese. Now hold up, now roll up. Check the situation, about to go nuts. With a little bit of perk up in my cup, you could tell the bartender to fill it on up. That's alright, baby, work your stuff, and that's all night, baby, work your strut. You and your friends can ride when I go. Take a little spin in my Monte Carlo. Take a little dip, baby, show you how I roll. Take a little hit, baby, puff on the hydro. Eyes so lit, make me look like my eyes closed. Purple drink mix, make me look like my eyes glow. Hypno Grey Goose with a little grape juice. That's how it is, so I'ma have to take side diesel in my blood. Purple drink in my cup, someone tell the DJ, crank it on up.
Go to me on, damn motherfucker. Yeah, I want to hear myself. Damn motherfucker coming here again. Or do you look like you were in the Game of Thrones with that hairdo?
Crank it up.
Right? I wish I could grow hair.
Rockwell grower of the north.
It'd be so awesome. Why are we looking for like cures for AIDS and cancer when cure for baldness would be way better?
I actually have a full head of hair.
I guess it's just
looks
based
like
on
this on
perspective.
camera.
You respect it?
No, I said it's based on perspective.
Oh. I guess if I had AIDS, I would want the cure for that.
Right.
All right, so what's up, man? What's the grand prize question?
Who sang the Coco Grow song?
You want me to say
What's his Instagram name?
562-653-0707. That's the phone number. Should we give another second? There's 2 open phone lines if you want to call in.
Call now. You can get through.
If not,
We'll give him a couple seconds, right?
Okay. Should we play the song one more time? Beat that horse to death. It'll never be heard again after tonight.
There you go. Play it again.
All righty. Pull that up.
I knew something was.
Something wasn't right
When you said got 4 pounds of lye.
Then you went and
Picked a fight with the host of the show.
Wah, wah, wah.
He put you in your place. Verbally bitch slapped your face. Worse than Duff's wife's herpes case. Y'all ain't homies no more. Go try a Coco. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit.
Bogey.
I'll never say the phone number again without being like 562-653-07.
Has to be better
Then you accused of more.
Stop using
Paclo.
Hey, try a Coco.
A bitch, a rockable scientist.
Hope you like algae. Because that's all your rock will breed. You can't call what you grow weed, and even Duffman agrees. Everybody knows you shouldn't fuck with a heavy tea show. Like one of Morty's hoes, you don't know when to just go. Go try a Coco. 562-653-0707. So call in and get shit. Oh, this must be heaven. If Marcos is shipping, well, you just might get it. Try a Coco, bro. You're hated more than even Vinny Stone. And that's really fucking low. Don't try a Coco.
Don't be a bitch, a rockable scientist.
I know. Every time I had to when I first got it, my wife was like, "You're just listening to this all the time." I was like, "I know, it's awesome."
It's a song that mentions my name.
I know.
It's my ringtone now.
See, I told you someone likes me. Yeah. Who wrote a song about you?
Nobody. All right.
They did. AMG wrote one. Bitch better have my money. All right. What's the grand prize question, Horty? Who wrote that song?
Who wrote that song?
Who sung the song? Who sent it to us? We're gonna have a parody song. Parody
Contest,
song.
which no one will enter because that
All right.
shit ain't that easy.
All right, Dr. Bumgardner.
Yeah.
Pick a line, 1 through 4.
Ooh, 3.
Tree. We have Dario in the CP Tizzle.
What up?
What up, Dario?
What's happening?
You know, fucking bitches getting money. What you doing?
Nothing much. Just the same.
You know, I always love chit chat with my friends. Let's have more of it next time you call. So let's talk about this song. Did you like the song?
Yeah, that's a fantastic song.
It's a fantastic song. Who sent it to us?
The one and only Upstate Grower.
Oh, that is correct. At Upstate Grower. Follow this ninja over on the Insta Scam. He is the man, the myth, the legend. He knows what's good and he knows his grow as well. You're going to get a blue lab meter. I'm not sure which one. Marcos is going to find out which one you need and send it to you. Granddaddy pads from Green Pad CO2, some Mission fertilizer, some Smart Pots, a gallon of Turpinator, and the new product, Guard and Spray. Yes, that's right. We talked about keeping pests and mildew off your plants. Well, don't fuck around no more. The number one product on the market. It's hit the shelves. And this is breaking news. Give me breaking news.
Jesus.
Guard and Spray. All right. Thanks so
Thank
much, man. Give me a soundbite, Horty.
Every Wednesday night from 6 to 10 Pacific Standard Time, who's hooking you up with the dopest grow knowledge and the freshest grow gear?
DFZ Radio.
Not you, Dr. Bomb, dumb fuck.
The Heavy T Grove Show.
Thank you, sir. Sorry about the interruption there.
Oh man, something about that mic. Thanks, brother.
Hey, tag that there saying that was comedic gold.
Yes, he won't do it. He can't even do nothing.
He'll say he will.
He couldn't even wipe off the table.
I'll do that next time.
He's gonna.
Well,
get
Matia usually wipes up the table.
He said when the check clears, he'll do it.
Right.
Once he's paid.
Hey, man.
Clears.
Guys, like I said, we've been going through a lot of things over here, the Heavy T family. I appreciate the well wishes that people sent out, and we're back in action. We're going to be here hopefully each and every week. There might be one more missed show this month, and that's to wrap things up, tie up all the loose ends. But I want to say thank you to the listeners. Thank you to Upstate Grower. And even thank you to Rockwell Scientists for allowing me to really shine. Without Frazier, Muhammad Ali would never be what he was. You understand? You dig?
Yeah, I dig.
Without the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers would not even be as good as they are. Right?
That's the Dallas Cowboys.
But nonetheless, and our sponsors, all of you guys, thank you so much. All the support and well wishes. Thanks to Marcos Pollos for making us look bad on the shipping and answering the phone late and not telling people to get off their speakerphone tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you to Javon. I don't really know what you do, but you're here every week. And St. Diesel shook the rust off, started off a little bad, but did what he did. Dr. Bomb, Black Market, Cultivator, Gardener, thanks for coming in. Horty Chris, like always, man, thanks for coming in.
For sure. Other than that,
we is out.